Doc Sammy.
Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live right here on YouTube. Your Saturday morning geeky delight is back once again to talk about all the big news in comic books and probably get sidetracked like a bunch of morons on a bunch of other topics. Should be a fun week. We got Dylan coming back for a third week in a row. He went on vacation. We're going to get our work out of him. And I forgot to talk to you about the big UFC event last week. We had the John Jones super fight at heavyweight. What did you think?
I mean, the fight went exactly how I thought it would be. He's fighting an old man. Stipe shouldn't be fighting anymore. Stipe had been fighting like 3 years, and he got knocked out by Ngannou the last time he fought. So that main event was trash. He needs to fight Aspinall. John Jones needs to fight Tom Aspinall, but he's avoiding.
Was at least the semi-main Chandler versus Oliveira's good?
Yeah. The co-main was good. Chandler versus Oliveira was a really fun fight, but the rest of that card was not too great.
It's a bunch of decisions. That's always the worst.
Yeah.
Did you watch UFC Knockout?
What was UFC Knockout?
It was Chuck Liddell versus Vanderlei Silva.
Oh yeah.
And there was like the entire card were decisions, except I think there was one stoppage like in the undercard.
That was a problem they're having since they switched to these new gloves earlier this year. And they were supposed to help reduce eye pokes. They didn't reduce eye pokes at all. And they reduced finishes instead. The fighter said that like you have to try so hard to make a fist. They're talking about how they'd burn out their forearms just trying to make a fist with the new gloves. But with this card, because this was John's first time fighting in a couple of years, and he didn't like the new gloves, so they went back to the old gloves because of him for this card.
Well, first they're going back to him permanently.
So for the rest of the year, I believe every pay-per-view is going to have the old gloves, and every fight night's going to have the new gloves. So they're doing like 50-50, and then they're going to make a decision next year. So
they'll go back to the old gloves. People like
they should. They should.
Yeah. So the best fight I've ever seen was I think Dan Henderson, Mauricio Shogun Rua. This is probably the best fight I ever saw on a UFC event. And then the best fight I've ever seen live was actually Ben Henderson versus Clay Guida. If you remember that one on the Fox card with Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez?
Yeah, that's crazy that you were there for that.
I was there for that. Those guys went at it for it was like two barn cats fighting for 15 minutes straight. It was crazy.
Yeah, I've never got to see a fight in person. I was supposed to go to a card in Oregon, but that was in March of 2020, so the entire world shut down, so I didn't get to go see that. Man, favorite fight ever though, so hard. It might be the second Whitaker Romero fight. That fight is crazy. That's one of my favorite fights of all time for sure.
And then there was another one. It was Gray Maynard fighting the little New Jersey guy.
Oh, yeah. Is it Maynard versus Sanchez? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Gray Maynard versus the guy who was the champion.
Guy was the champion.
He trained under Longo and Matt Serra.
I forget. Because Maynard's had the
best comeback I've ever seen in a title fight ever. Gray Maynard basically destroyed him for 3 rounds straight, and he came back, and he was the champion, and he ended up getting a decision because he got a 10-8 in the final round. Because he beat the shit out of him after he gassed himself. It was great.
Maynard's been in a couple crazy fights. I can't remember who.
Maynard UFC title fight. There we go. How am I forgetting this guy's name?
Oh, it was Frankie Edgar. Yeah.
Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, they fought they fought several times. Pretty sure they had a trilogy.
The first two were awesome. The last one was not so great. But the first one, when Gray Maynard dumped him on his head and beat the crap out of him for 3 rounds straight, and then Frankie had to come back, was absolutely awesome. That was a good one too.
Frankie Edgar was a beast. Frankie.
Yeah, he was always fighting above his weight because he didn't want to cut weight. It was weird.
Yeah. One of the few guys that did that.
Are you excited for the big fight this weekend?
What's this weekend?
It's I think it's Macau, right?
I don't know. I've not looked at any of the fights this week.
Dylan apparently doesn't know about the next UFC fight. It must not be important. How's the comic books going? Did you get any books this week?
Yeah, I got a few. It was kind of a week. Not a great week, but Rockefeller's #1 came out, and I enjoyed that. So happy about that. I like what Tomasi's doing there. That was cool. So There are a few good
I
comics.
thought G.I. Joe: Real American Hero was the best book of the week, and it wasn't even very close.
I still haven't. I know I've heard it's been great since they switched from IDW, but just All American Hero was so ass at the end of IDW that I haven't picked it up yet. I know I heard it's really good now, but at the end of IDW, it was like Larry Hama didn't care at all. So
he cares now. And the issue this week, Chris Moodyham's art, absolute perfection. You should definitely check that out. Being a G.I. Joe guy.
Yeah, I know I need to. I just haven't been dragging my feet on that.
Who else we got? We got Rev Sully in the house.
Hello. How's everyone?
Did you know that I deplore change? And your background is really screwing me up because you're not in the right place.
Me too, but it's gonna get, the fortress of solitude is gonna come together very quickly. We'll have the man-child cave in here pretty soon, blinking lights, transformers, figurines, battleships and shit,
So you're moving into your new condo that you inherited.
Exactly. Yeah. I inherited my mom's condo and I'm down here this weekend and just, putting my bed together and got the Wi-Fi going, the essentials. Set up my TV.
Oh, yeah. Is there a good sandwich shop around there? You staked out your sandwich shop?
I've already staked out my local pub. It's full of local people, wicked local Bostonians. I swear. They got a Kino and they got mozzarella sticks. And it's an
they all got broken nose and little dicks.
Dude, exactly, man. You don't mention that to someone's face or else.
Absolutely not. I'll get a broken nose myself.
Awesome. Good to see everyone. And let everyone in the chat know that I'm on my iPhone today, so I can't even read the chat right now. Or, I hit the wrong button on my iPhone and
I assumed that you got a call earlier and that's why you backed out.
Yeah, it was my dad. I was like, Dad, I told you I'm on the show. Oh, I'm watching you right now. What happened to you? I love
very good.
He's awesome. Good to see everyone.
So what you up to, Sully? Are there any videos that people need to to know about, or you got like a new soup recipe coming up?
I do gratitude lists every morning. That's how I greet the day, and I format my day through gratitude, and I share that. I want to pay that forward. It's every blessing that you can count is another rung on the ladder that's going to get you out of that pit that you dug yourself into. And also, I do a Sunday live stream talking about what did I get at the comic book shop this week. What did I get? I got a couple of funny books. I get funny books every week. And I got a crowdfunder that came in too. So we'll get to that at the end of the show with recommendations.
Oh, very nice. We've also got Mr. Aaron Sparrow in the house. We've still got Kneel Before Doomface going strong on the Kickstarter. Link in the video description. You guys have gone over 13,000, hit another stretch goal.
Yeah, we're at 13.4 right now, and so it's just $600 to our next stretch goal. Everybody's unlocking stickers right now of all the characters. The next sticker to unlock is the Colonel Silverstreak. High time we retoxify masculinity sticker. So you can, and if you're signed up, you're getting regular updates from Doomface himself. So that's kind of fun. But everybody's been really great. We appreciate everybody still out there spreading the word, getting it out to as many new people as we can. I mean, that's really the big part. We went with a lower price point because we wanted people to be able to buy into the book. So it's taken a little bit longer to hit those tiers than some other crowdfunders. But we're also trying to give you more bang for your buck.
Absolutely. And Sully finally went and backed it this week. He's super excited.
I totally did. I did. Yeah, I'm wicked happy. I have knelt before Doomface, and you know what? He knighted me. It was like,
assume the position.
I'm Sir Sully now. Okay.
Anything else been going on, Aaron? Any other appearances you made? I know you've been making the rounds, buddy.
Oh man, I was on Von Coleman's show. I was on John Douglas's show. Basically, I'm showing up wherever I'm invited at this point. It's been pretty much a live stream a night. So even I'm sick of myself at this point.
Aaron out here whoring himself around.
I know. Oh, hey, Jim's here. Dylan, explain to Jim what time we start.
Hi. I just came in. I wanted to correct Wes. The pub that Sully goes to, they have small noses and broken dicks.
They have little blue pills. Dude, this place is so local. I've never seen this before. I'm in the restaurant industry all my life. You know the little fruit thing that they have the bartenders put the garnishes in? They got one for little pads of butter because everyone asks for extra butter for their buns. And I'm like, I've never seen that
Don't we
before.
all?
Oh my God, that's so convenient. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, how about this? This will blow your mind, Sully. Here in the Philippines, almost every restaurant that you go to has gravy on tap. There's a little gravy machine, keeps it hot. You just go up there and you pump more gravy onto whatever you're eating.
That's like the butter at the movie theater.
It's better than all you can have ranch. Is what it is.
Technology. Wow. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, it's the best thing about living in the Philippines is all the gravy. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. Very nice. Anything else going on, Sparrow? Anything with the toys? You get anything cool this week that you painted up or redid?
I mean, I painted a couple things, but I have picked up some cool stuff. I picked up the 1986 movie, animated movie Bumblebee. I picked up Road Pig from G.I. Joe, that deluxe set.
Where is he?
What else? I'm like looking over. Well, I'll go grab him. I didn't know that.
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't know you
show
were
off the
gonna call me
toys.
out and ask me to start showing off toys. Me, I'm always picking up a couple things. I bring home 6 figures a week.
6 action figures.
That's right.
Very nice. All right, so Jim, you did come in a little bit late, but we're very, very happy to have you.
Yep.
And people are making fun of you, and they don't realize that you did almost die this week.
I don't even remember. Oh yeah,
You said your
throat,
uvula
my throat
swole
got
to the
swollen.
size of my testicles
Yes,
and
it
clogged your
did.
throat.
Which isn't that big, but still, it ended up. Yeah. I'm having problems with my throat. Aaron, I saw he was saying that he has a sore throat. I'm having a problem talking too. I just woke up late. I woke up early and then I fell back asleep. And then I, in a panic, woke up at 10 o'clock. And so that's when I sent you that message. And I had to, but I had to take my dog out quick. So that's why I was a little late.
So
but
how's
yeah,
the
I have
Dirty
a
Song
husky,
business
but
treating you?
it's okay. It could get better. I got a strike, so that kind of screwed me for a bit. It's still hurting a little. So any help will help. And but I made some comic videos out of nowhere too. It was great. And yeah, I made some comic stuff, and people were yelling at me, so it's normal. It's normal.
What? Why were they yelling at you? What was your opinion?
Here's the thing. I did, after me and you talked about it, and then I talked on our Patreon. I decided to do a video for All Along the Watchtower, the question.
Terrible book.
And again, I knew the thing. It's like you're walking on a landmine when you go and talk about something. I hated the book, but I say things like, well, I don't really. I say I don't really mind. Overall, Vic Sage, Renee Montoya. There, I get attacked for that. Then I'm like, well, this happened, and then I get attacked. Everybody seemed to agree almost with the book, but then little things that you say always get people in a panic. So again,
Along the Watchtower, not a redeeming quality about the book.
No, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad book.
It's basically, Dylan, did you read it?
Nope.
It's basically 70% of the book is a guided tour of the Watchtower.
And a boring one. Yeah, boring.
Yes.
Oh,
it's like, here's Superman. Here's Wonder Woman. Here's the break room. That's what it is.
No, it reads like a video game tutorial where you're just walking around and meeting all the NPCs.
Yeah, it does, because actually they even say, do you know how to use your gun? Answer yes or no. Yes. And then you move on. And and then suddenly, something breaks out in a place that has 1,000 superheroes, including the Trinity and, Renee Montoya, and Fire with Ice's abilities. Now Ice's powers has to, because that's clever. Fire now has ice power. Ice has fire.
Yeah, what's your absolute power for that?
Yeah.
There's
like
a
the
question
idea
for
that
you,
I
Jim.
picked that once. Oh, the question.
Spider Toxin wants to know, how does Jim know the size of Wes's testicles? I think that's pertinent.
Well, why? I think that's common knowledge.
I think it's how.
What actually
Stop sending us all pictures.
People don't realize, and they may not even get this, but I do get Cardiologists Weekly. And for some reason, the Cardiologist Weekly, they put Wes's testicles in there saying, why would we have to deal with these?
There's the thing.
That's a funny
inside
story.
joke. Yeah. That's a true
Wes has an
story.
OnlyFans, man.
No, so this is what happened. I'll share with the family. We're all friends here, right?
Yep. This is why I know it, right? Yeah.
My doctor, or my general doctor that I would go to when I was sick, he had a heart attack and he passed away here. And I didn't have a doctor, and I was getting sick, and I wasn't able to find a new doctor, and I ended up with this weird thing on my testicles. And I talked to my wife. I was like, I need a new doctor to go show him my balls. And she's like, okay, I found the doctor. And we go in there, and I'm telling the doctor, he's like, so what's wrong with you? I was like, I described what was going on. He goes, yeah, it sounds like you've got an ingrown hair, and you've got a buildup of, I don't know, something out of a tear ductor. You know what I mean? Like almost like a blackhead or something like that. I was like, but you haven't looked. He goes, I don't need to look. I was like, well, damn me if you're not doing your job today. And I whipped my testicles out. I said, look, and tell me I don't have cancer. And he did not want to look. He didn't want to touch or anything like that. And then, no, he goes, yes, it's what I described. And we paid him the money. And as we're walking out, I finally look at the sign on the doctor's office, and he's a cardiologist.
Yep.
And
That's what
I
I
forced
know.
him to place my testicles in his hand.
You can feel my heartbeat through them, bro.
And he was
Guy was all
and he
hard.
was just being really polite and nice about it. And I didn't realize.
And then he went home and cried in the shower while the crying game played in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. Here on Testicle Aficionados, once again.
I still feel awful, and I can never go back to that doctor. If I have heart issues, I'm gonna have to find the other
You're gonna have to go to a
cardiologist
testicle doctor
in the
your
city.
heart issues.
But,
Go
not my
find
proudest
the urologist for your heart.
Yeah.
like,
He said he has high
because
blood pressure.
he was trying to get me out of there, and I was like, listen, dude, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but you are going to grab my testicles, and you're going to have a look-see. But he was very uncomfortable about it. He's not happy. And I told my wife, I was like, you have got to go and apologize to this guy. And I don't think she ever did it. I think because technically it's her fault. She should have asked, what kind of doctor are you, before she took me in there.
Oh God!
Like going to the podiatrist because
I should send him some flowers and probably take him out to dinner. That would be a
I
nice
think that's
thing
gonna
to
make
do.
it worse.
Oh man! So thanks for bringing that one up, Jim. I hadn't thought about that story in probably 9 months.
Well, there you go.
When it happened.
I don't forget stories like that.
Yeah, Jim and I have a thing on our Hot or Not podcast on the Patreon called the Dad Corner, where we talk about the weird things that happen in our lives, and that one came up.
Yeah, that explains the dad corner to a T.
I went to my proctologist instead of my optometrist. He said I had shitty eyesight.
No, Kalichi, I didn't ask myself because, this it's a foreign country. My wife speaks the language. There's 2 languages here. Actually, there's 3. There's English, Tagalog, the national language, and there's Waray, which is a local dialect. And I assumed that she was going to ask all the pertinent questions. I shouldn't have trusted her, I guess.
Don't trust
We
your
now
wife.
know not to do that.
That poor man.
So what do you think? You're like, there you go, Jim. You happy you called me out? You embarrassed me in front of all my
Yep,
friends.
that's because you tried to embarrass me with them in the chat. So that's what happened.
Well, it's true. I did bring up the time that you beat up a person with cerebral palsy
yeah,
trying to play hockey with you.
my uncle pulling my pants down. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
All the good stuff.
So you had an all along the Watchtower video. Did you make any other comic book videos this week?
Yeah, what we're going to talk about, the Dan Slott deal and some other stuff. I think I did Ultimate Spider-Man deal. I did a couple more than usual. So
Very
getting
nice.
back into the swing of things.
I saw
But
that.
your uvula's keeping up with it, right? It's not too swollen anymore?
Well, no, it's pretty bad. I won't throw up here. I was doing a podcast. I told you on our Patreon it ended up throwing up during the podcast because my throat's all screwed up, but not here.
And that's how I know that his uvula is swollen to the size of my testicles. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, and when you say uvula, they're like it sounds like a lady part, but
Yes,
it
it
is
does.
not. It is not. I always have to double check.
Jim was gagging on his own throat.
Yes, I
Gargling
was.
balls.
Yes, gargling balls. Things like a punching bag back there.
Oh, very nice. Last but not least, we do have Doc. Doc and I have already recorded a couple of videos for the YouTubes. We did our worst of the week review of Exceptional X-Men, and you can thank Sully right now because he's the one that suggested that.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
The comic was fucking terrible. And once again, I keep going back further. Like, Sully, yeah, you recommended it, but I'm not going to put the blame on you. You like to share. Good and bad. You are very excited to share the things you love and the things you hate. So I'm not going to put it on you. And I'm not even really going to put it on, fucking Tom Brevoort for hiring her. Or I'm not even going to blame, I'm not going to blame Eve Ewing for being that terrible. I'm going to blame whoever it was. I'm going to blame Brian Michael Bendis for needing to pacify his adopted daughter by creating Riri Williams. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be subject to Eve Ewing in the comic book industry. It's like, blaming
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, it's the butterfly effect. The same way that prohibition directly leads to the Got Milk campaign. So
now, I don't, Doc. I think that you're underselling Eve Ewing's.
Aaron, can you move the mic just a little bit closer?
Yeah, is that better, guys? My voice is a little weak today.
Check.
There
Dub.
Check. Is that better?
yeah,
Usually you guys are telling me I'm too loud.
It's true.
No, but I think Doc, you're denigrating Eve Ewing's qualifications for being in the industry. Her dad read a comic strip once. Remember?
yeah.
He was
He
a fan.
enjoyed reading the Sunday Funnies, so therefore she should be given a brand
Blame
new
Family
#1 as
Circus.
part of a major initiative in comics.
Wait, where's
Calvin
Bill
and Hobbes
Waters?
and Batman.
Where's Bill
Yeah,
Watterson right
exactly.
now? I need to go find him out in Cleveland and yell at him.
I believe it was the Wizard of Id. Is what it was.
Hey, you read a couple of Lockhorns. Why don't you write the X-Men?
Oh, they're so funny.
The deeper nuances of Garfield and Odie. I know.
They think you're still too quiet, Aaron.
Really? Oh man, I don't know
He
what-
wrote
I don't know.
comics and they were never allowed to have lasagna, or they had lasagna. They just hated Mondays.
What happened to Lyman? Was that John and Lyman? Did they break up? Was there gay coding in Garfield the entire time?
Sully
Yes.
dubbed Eve Ewing's book "Excruciating X-Men."
Excruciating X-Men. That's right, dude.
Yeah.
There was a fucking corgi. There was a corgi in there, dude. And it's
What's
just
with the
all you
corgi
need to
hate?
know. I love corgis, but when you put a corgi into a living room scene in the apartment when it's cutesy, oh god.
That's so
No.
2016. It's like, you might as well draw a mermaid on a TARDIS holding a corgi.
At least it wasn't talking like it was in that Hawk Girl book that had a corgi too.
Yeah.
And pronouns. There's a correlation between corgis and the pronoun thing.
Can we just admit at this point that Tom Brevoort is a TARDIS? And just, this is worse than Krakoa.
Yeah.
Well, Doc and I have a video coming out about that one tomorrow. Another conversation. But I think we do have the intros. Let's say some shout outs to our Thinking Critical backers. We got a couple of people joining the family this week. And a reminder, if you want to support Thinking Critical on Patreon, there is a link in the video description. You get a superhero name, you get a city to protect, and obviously you get all kinds of wonderful podcasts and extra videos depending on the tier you support. First up, thank you very much to Severio the cat, the feline protector of Carum in Bayside, Melbourne, Australia. Very, very specific. Hope you're enjoying the Patreon this week. And also thank you very much to Nuke Boy for signing up, the protector of Core Haven. And hopefully he doesn't have a fallout anytime soon and is enjoying all the great stuff happening on the Sparrow's Never-Ending Christmas Tree tier, which we named for you, Sparrow, as an inside joke, but you're not even have a Christmas tree.
I will right after Thanksgiving. I'm putting it up. I got it out of storage the other day. So
Very
Christmas
nice.
tree
About
will-
time. Are you
I-
going to
well,
have
I decided-
gremlins in your Christmas tree?
Yeah, I think I'll have gremlins this year. I decided I'm not moving in January, so the Christmas tree will go up.
When are you moving here to the Philippines?
I don't know, man. It as soon as I have a huge financial windfall that allows me to come live like a king.
Wow.
I can't
Sounds like
be
a
living
plan.
any less large than you, Wes. I gotta at least come in at your level.
Well, if you don't have 3 kids, it's probably
Oh, that's
Easy to
probably
live
yeah,
large.
That will help. I mean, I've
Your
got
kids
me,
do
one
cost
giant
money.
kid that has to buy toys every week, like like Road Pig.
Yeah,
See, that's where it's
the
gonna be a
toy
problem.
budget
It's gonna be
doesn't
so-
change.
it's going to be so hard to get things over there. I don't know.
No,
Nice.
everything's made in China. You'll be closer to the action figure tree in China, so you'll have fresher produce, dude.
All right. Are you ready to be mad, Aaron? Move the mic a little bit closer. People still can't hear you.
Okay, the mic is now like directly in front of me.
Perfect.
There you go. He's talking about testicles. Jeez.
Lane says, Dan Slott, I realized from the thumbnail looks like Aaron. He was a complete goofball with an IQ of 60 and wants to make all of his comics okay to too awful.
Lane is dead to me now.
That wasn't very nice.
I've only ever once been mistaken for Dan Slott, and that was because a guy at a con told his friend, oh, Dan Slott's over that way, and his friend said, "What does he look like?" And he goes, "Oh, he's bald with a big beard." And so the guy came up to me and he was like, "Are you Dan Slott?" And I was like, "Why in the hell would I be Dan Slott?" And he was like, "Oh, my friend said that Dan Slott was over in here. Was bald with a beard."
I will
and
kill
I said,
your
"Oh
friend.
man, yeah, we are really rare. It is really hard to find bald bearded guys at conventions." Yeah. I understand why you thought it was me. But no, to be Dan Slott, I'd have to be 2 feet shorter and about 4 feet more in circumference.
2 feet wider.
So, yeah. Definitely.
Blade
he's
says,
a dollop of humanity. He looks like somebody just scooped him out and just went like that, and there he was.
if you are a Star Trek fan, go check out Roddenberry Archive Unification CGI short with Kirk and Spock. Let's watch other shorts together. You will tear up.
Yes, you will.
Is that the one where they had Sam Witwer put on the prosthetic?
Yes, it is. It's amazing. It's really good. It's silent. There's no dialogue in it, and it's got a dreamlike quality. And it's like I don't know, any Trekkies out there in the chat, or let me know. Was that Kirk in the Nexus? And did you know canonically that when Spock was going through Ponfar in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and he got it on with Savick, they reproduced and they had a son? I never knew that, and I'm a lifelong Trekkie.
What a nerd!
How did you get in this show?
I need to come up to Boston just to shove you in a
I want to smack you.
Come on and bring it. I'll take you off
Sully,
the
we're all cool here. Stop it.
Yeah.
Beam me up, Sully.
and chowder.
So, Sully, I like Star Trek, and
Yes.
I've watched most of the series now. Does that make me a Trekkie, or am I just a fan?
You can be a Trekkie, you can be a Trekker, but as long as you don't drink the Kool-Aid on the new Trek stuff.
No, but what makes me a Trekkie? I want to know.
It's about your heart.
Do I need to have a Star Trek uniform?
Have you showered today?
You are a Trekkie. I knight
I have
you
showered.
as
Then you're not.
You are no longer a squire. You are a knight of Trek.
I had a friend who was a sheriff who said that not every Star Trek fan was a pedo, but every pedo was a Star Trek fan.
Yes.
Terrible.
But it's really good.
That was just based on busts that he'd made.
Empirical evidence. Federico De La Casa. Hi, guys. At a new con here in Italy, and we're selling out of our new products. I've met an Italian editor that told me that Cebulski said that he doesn't want the Spider-Man marriage back until he is in power. Isn't Cebulski already in power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's he, or maybe that's like they don't want to put the name of the person in power, but I'm assuming he's in power. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, Doc. He is in power. He's the
EIC. Yeah.
Now at DC, the publisher has always been in charge, but at Marvel, it's always the EIC in charge.
Correct. So I'm a little confused on that because CB Cebulski is the editor in chief. So he's the top of the food chain at Marvel Comics. Because even they have presidents and publishers, but Dan Buckley is not in charge of Marvel Comics. It's the editor in chief, the same way that it was Joe Quesada during Joe's reign. Jim Shooter.
I thought Feige was in charge.
Feige is
chief creative officer.
Yeah, he's the chief creative officer, and he has some additional title. I think whatever Ike Perlmutter's old title was.
President of Marvel?
No, not well.
That's
might
Buckley.
be. Yeah. I don't remember exactly. think chairman, but I don't remember. Doesn't particularly matter. But yeah, he's
president of Marvel Studios.
Okay, president of Marvel Studios, and Buckley is president of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better description of current Marvel than what Doc just said, which was, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, because it really doesn't.
That should be their slogan. Marvel Comics, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, if we listen to Tom Brevoort talk about the X-Men, it's very clear that it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. There will be a video about that on the not too distant future out on the YouTubes for Think Critical YouTube. So Sully, as somebody that's a self-described Trekkie, are you also a Star Wars fan?
Heck yeah.
Who has the more
Star
annoying fan base as someone that's been on the inside of both the Star Trek and the Star Wars fan base?
It gets pretty darn right pedantic on the Trekkie side of the aisle.
Exactly.
Because there's
Star Trek fans are way worse than Star Wars.
We're pickier because we don't have space magic involved.
Star Wars
you know what I
fans are
mean?
trying to catch up.
You have
space magic involved. Because
Yes, you
it's
do.
like, oh, how do we get out of the situation? Oh, we'll rearrange.
I watched DS9. There's plenty of space magic going on in that show.
Isn't it all magic?
Oh, no. Hold on.
But it had happening.
I know exactly why it's space magic, because communism works.
Oh.
Space commies is not a show I'm terribly interested in, and I've never.
But you're missing a pretty fucking key element of Star Trek
I
that
know,
actually makes it work. So you're in a
post-scarcity
post-scarcity society,
Yeah.
where you don't have to work for everything; it's provided.
You're talking
You have
new
maker
Trek,
bots.
Doc. That's new Trek.
Well, even old Trek is. Well, hell, they're fucking weird crystal things that make their space engines work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say this: everything that happens in Star Wars with the Force makes more sense than the shit that was happening in the final season of DS9 with the space wormhole gods.
Yeah, Cisco over. Oh,
it went too far.
Yeah,
he's the chosen
a little
one.
bit,
and Star Trek
the chosen one.
Star Trek has Whoopi. So.
Yeah, that automatically makes it worse.
Yep.
Aww.
No Whoopi in Star Wars.
You gave Whoopi Goldberg.
The only Whoopi in Star Wars is between brother and sister.
Renaissance. If it wasn't for Star Trek, Whoopi Goldberg wouldn't be annoying people on The View. Butterfly effect.
Ooh.
Even as a kid, like anytime it was
it's the chicken and the egg, Will.
Like, nope.
Dylan, do you agree that Star Trek fans are way worse than Star Wars fans?
I don't remember the last time I met a Star Trek fan in real life, so I don't.
You don't think they're real?
I don't know.
Never met one in the wild.
They're like the type, they're the type I see online. Never met them in the wild, so I don't know. I want to say that during that whole discussion you guys just had, it's hilarious because I was imagining Aaron is like 8 inches tall because his voice is so small right now. Everyone else is talking. Aaron kept talking. He's like,
man.
Everyone just steamrolled him because he's so low right now. So that was pretty funny.
But I do think the Star Wars fandom might be like the best fandom in the world, Dylan.
I don't know about that, especially with these.
Who's better?
Well, the old fans, the Lucas era fans are the best.
Yeah, because the new age Disney fan, because you got Raylos and a bunch of people like that, and it's
those aren't Star Wars fans; those are shippers.
There's Disney, the Disney fans are just the Disney Star Wars fans.
No, they're internet obsessed, autistic, sex obsessed weirdos. Those are not actually even people.
Real
K-pop
Star Wars
fans.
fans. You don't even have to know them. You don't even have to exchange names. You can have a 4-hour conversation about Star Wars.
Well, that is true.
You can also identify them by the scent.
Star Wars fans smell like soap.
No, Star Trek fans.
Yeah, Star Trek fans are a different beast. Yeah, because it was never really
a lack of soap.
What happens if you see a guy and he introduces you to his girlfriend or wife? You know he's not a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my goodness! I like Star Trek, but I'm more of a Star Wars guy. So it looks like Aaron has dipped out to see if he could work on his audio issues.
He just had to turn up the gain a little bit or something,
I always turn the gain to absolute zero.
I have
as low as humanly possible, so you don't get like this stuff happening outside my house.
Yeah.
I agree. But I don't know if he's got the right mic settings. We had worked on it last week, and it got a little bit better. But Not really sure what's going on there. I guess we should get into the topics because we do have Dan Slott coming to Superman. And I couldn't think of anybody that would be more excited than the world's biggest Superman fan, or at least the Zoomer's biggest Superman fan. Dylan, how excited are you for Dan Slott Superman? It's even better than Bendis.
It's legit Bendis all over again, except with Bendis, at least you could be like Bendis was once upon a time he was good. At one point in time he wrote good comics, and you could kind of like gaslight yourself and be like, maybe you just got bored at Marvel, and now he'll get reinvigorated at DC and he'll do good. With Dan Slott, there's not like a period in time where you can point to be like, man, he's really firing on all cylinders there. I hope we get that guy. I don't get this pickup. I don't understand. I don't know why DC thinks this is what's going to be needed. It sucks because we had like with Philip Kennedy Johnson, we had a great Superman run that was going on, and then he leaves both titles, and now we got Joshua Williamson doing okay. Occasionally he does some good stuff, but it's just middling. And then we've got Mark Waid on Action Comics,
followed by John Ridley.
It's like I don't get what they're doing.
I think it's just that all-star Action Comics. I think they paint themselves in the corner. You have to keep getting new writers to do it, and they're running out. And hopefully it's just that. But who else are you going to get? I mean, Teenie Howard.
I think
Leah Williams.
I think first of all, you have two things kind of playing at the same time here.
That'd be fun.
DC Comics inferiority complex, where they feel absolutely necessary to pick up every amount of Marvel sloppy seconds. It doesn't matter how bad they are. If they're not currently getting a lot of work at Marvel, they get them. And second, I think Tom Brevoort is out of I understand he's still a VP, but I don't think he has the level of position of power that he previously did. So he's not able to carry Dan Slott's career any longer at Marvel. And Dan has burned as many of the bridges as he's going to. And that's why there's a reason why he's not currently getting another ongoing.
And he keeps on only getting the same kind of thing. The Spider-Verse can't go on for that long.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't Spider-Boy already canceled?
I don't think it's canceled. It's just kind of going. That's kind of okay. But Spider-Verse, it's just boring.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you say the Action Comics, I know that people even laugh Dan Slott, but the idea you call it that all-star initiative type thing, and you got to at least get somebody who people know of, even if it's because once you get like a Leah Williams, I mean, can you say like all-star? And
it's all in.
Yeah. I'm saying just that whole thing with Action Comics, they call it like the all-star initiative type deal, is all these big writers, and they've had, whether or not you think like Gail Simone, Jason Aaron, those, I think that they're running out of people to get that make it feel like they're trying to get somebody big. And
what's a name?
Somebody made the joke. I was going to make the joke that nobody saw the day after when they announced that Christos Gage would also be coming to DC, because he certainly will finish. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing is with the whole thing with Dan Slott. Like, if you do put him on an ongoing, DC has to know like you're screwed anyway, because he's never going to be able to keep it.
Yeah, you need to also hire Christos Gage.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah,
go ahead. He beat me to it, man. He beat me to it.
That's great.
I was going to say, you're basically announcing Christos Gage on the book.
That's what you're announcing.
Yeah.
But if it's just for 3 issues on Action Comics, then fine. And maybe it sucks. Maybe it's okay. But if they do announce, like Bendis, they better have learned you don't give up both books. You don't let him run roughshod and change characters and things like that. Then he just gets the hell out and whatnot. But who knows? It sucks because, like Dylan said, at points they have had, I mean, even before Bendis, when they had Jurgens and Tomasi, they had really good runs going. People were into it. They stopped that. Then they get Philip Kennedy Johnson. They stopped that. Now they just keep doing the same thing. They don't learn there.
What about you, Dylan? Your thoughts? I mean, Slott. Come on.
Nothing excites me about Dan Slott. I don't get that. Even for an all-star, he's not an all-star. And he never really has been.
People know the name, and like if you hear it,
at
least you're like, oh, Dan Slott. If they announce that it's like somebody we like Chris Condon, like people like what? Like they'd have to look up. See, I think it's just for reaction. Tom King will be soon. It'll be shit like.
Oh God.
So
yeah,
so
you're right.
Slott's like
pretty sure
infamous.
Yeah.
But you're just going pure name recognition.
Yeah. I think that's all it is. It's all it is. I mean, that's kind of what it was at the point when they got, Bendis. They were going more for name. Pretty much what this feels like is this whole thing. I always say it feels like I guess they're called the Commanders now, but Washington, when they'd always get like guys who were well past their prime and want the name, like Deion Sanders. Oh, right. Like the guy's like in a wheelchair and he can barely do it. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It feels like, or like the old Yankees in like the 80s.
The New York Rangers used to do that too.
Yeah. They just they're just grabbing names that you have heard at one point, hoping people are like, oh, I've heard of him. He's pretty good. But you don't realize he hasn't been good in a while. And, maybe they're hoping to get lightning in the bottle.
So it's Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah. And Gail Simone on Action Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the names they're getting. Jason Aaron isn't exactly the most loved guy, but people kind of know him, and they're like, "Oh, that's a cool get." It was okay.
I feel like this leads to a larger conversation about the fact that there is nobody left in comics.
No, that's my other point. Doc, you said it. The first thing you said to me when I came on the show, and I said, "Oh man, they got to get better writers and this." And you're like, "Where are they?" You name me the better writers.
Exactly.
They're not out there. They're not out there. And the ones that are out there don't want to write for the big two. They want to do their own thing, make their own money.
Mm-hmm.
It's trouble. I mean, they could get Mark Waid right now to get on Action Comics for 3 issues. He's already said that he wanted to do that, but they won't. Not Mark Waid. I'm sorry. Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Mark Waid's on it.
Yeah, Mark Miller.
Mark Miller would be a guy who people would be excited about. They'd be like, oh my God, this is great. He said he would do it, and they won't do that. But other than that, where are the other big writers?
Anywhere. I mean, please,
we lost a whole generation of creatives with the whole.
I think we lost a whole generation of creativity because none of these new writers have it. And do you want them to get Lansing and Kelly? Do you want them to get, do you want them to get Eve Ewing? Because those are the next round. If and again, Dan Slott may suck, but at least we've heard of them, and people can get mad, and everybody's yelling, hide Lois and John, because they're gonna,
I know.
Yeah, like that's the big thing, and it's funny, but people are talking about it. If people ended up, if they said, "Oh, well, I'm trying to even think of some other, get Taboo from freaking the Black Eyed Peas. He was writing at Marvel. Get him. You'll see how bad it is. It's great. Yeah."
I got an idea. How about you just do away with your political blacklist, and
that's a good one.
Some of the writers that you guys have your little assistant editors with their political bents aren't hiring because A, they don't know who they are, and B, if they do know who they are, they don't like their politics. Get rid of that. Bring some of those people in.
If they announced Chuck Dixon was on it, people would love that. That'd be cool. Yep. And but there's still like people are saying you got Dan Chip. But again, I think they want to make this feel like, I don't know, whoever's involved doing this wants it to feel big and important and like, oh my God, we're getting all these. Everybody
Dan Slott.
Everybody wants to write Superman, and he's such a.
And I will say one thing, like somebody like Dan Jurgens, who is a very, very good creator. Mm-hmm. He is so closely associated with Superman, though. Bringing him back on it is like, okay.
And he got kicked off of Action, and with Bendis, he might tell them to go screw themselves.
But it's like trying to make a big announcement of Peter David back on Hulk or X Factor.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's one thing if it was like, when Claremont came back that first time. Mm-hmm. And after being on there for 17 years, then like kind of unceremoniously pushed out, and then he like kind of rage quits, and then he comes back 97 issues later and takes over the books. Like that was kind of a thing. Dan Jurgens has done so many runs of Superman and Superman tangential properties. Now, you can't make that you just can't make it. You can't give it hype. Unfortunately.
Now, Comic Book Muscle in the chat said Jan Jurgens should be editorial on Superman.
That's a good idea.
That'd be
great.
Cool. And
I'd like
someone
that.
else in the chat said Robert Venditti on Superman, which he did Superman 78, and he did that like Walmart book. So it'd be cool to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
give
Yeah.
him like a
That-
shot on the actual Action Comics.
I'm sure
that's
he
something
might
you
be
could hype
coming
up.
Yeah, I think
I
Give
think
him
that
like
would
a
be
5-issue run. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he had that little bit, but
Yeah.
actually, I would love to see him on Action. I think that'd be cool.
I have a question though. So what's the deal with Slott coming on the book? Is he replacing Joshua
They're
Williamson?
revolving writers. On
Yeah,
Action
everybody
for
thinks it's
Superman
Action Comics.
Superstars.
That's what the most thing.
Okay.
Superstars
All
is
right.
what it's called.
And-
I said
and-
All Stars.
And here, just one other. I think part of the reason why Slott is involved is he was kind of like, you know how they always talk about, well, Slott wrote the most issues. He was on Spider-Man for the longest of anyone that had ever been on Spider-Man, because they're counting the 3 times a month era as his tenure, when he only wrote maybe 10% of like 4 years of 3 times a month. So 3 times a month times 12 times 4 years, you got like 144 issues. He might have wrote 15 of them. But
When
he's
you factor
also
in how much of that Christos Gage wrote, how much did Dan Slott actually write?
One
well,
issue.
actually, I don't know, because Christos actually did his own issues on that too. But my point is, if that seems to be the way they're taking it, almost back to the Triangle era on Superman, with this, that's the vibe I'm getting from it. Whether it's accurate or not is something entirely different. But if that's the kind of model they're going to, at least he has a experience working in that kind of a creative, collaborative.
It's not going to be
manner.
like that. He's going to do one story and then he's leave. But he's not. He's obviously not exclusive to Marvel anymore, Doc. So you should be excited.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Why would he be exclusive anymore?
Well, you know why? Because as fat as he's gotten, they won't cover his health insurance anymore. Like the entire health insurance company's like, no, we're not covering this fat fuck. He's
I
a
think it's
walking
more
heart
like
attack.
he doesn't sell books anymore unless it's Spider-Man. He can't do Fantastic Four. He can't do Iron Man. He can only do Spider-Boy or Spider-Girl.
He never sold comics. Dan Slott is like Declan Shalvey. They don't sell comics. They're on comics that sometimes sell. But even their own mother just kind of looks at it and goes, fuck, I guess I'll just suffer through this kid's shitty art or shitty writing because I want to read Spider-Man. And that's the way that I'm betting Dan Slott's mom even looks at reading Spider-Man. I'll suffer through my kid's shitty comic because I want to read Spider-Man.
It's like the Tom King thing. I mean, there's guys that are total dick writers for Tom King, and Wes, you pointed out that like they're like, oh, this is so brilliant, and you're like, this isn't brilliant at all. But the strength that Tom King has is that he always gets paired with a top tier artist, so people will suffer through a Tom King story just to look at the art.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or they won't.
For me, Dan Slott writing anything is a non-starter. I won't spend my money there. I buy comic books on Wednesdays. I go to my local comic book shop. I spend my money there, and I spend money on titles that deserve it and writers that deserve it. But I don't care if Twitter's changed its block function or anything. Dan Slott blocked me on Twitter with no direct interaction because I was on a list of bad thinkers and adjacent to some stinky people. And that's a non-starter with me. That just like, you know what? I got principles. And it's like, I am not spending my money with you. You're a jerk. And I don't care about your, Slotto Blocktavius reputation. That's, I just want to read your stories and enjoy them. And I would love to spend money with you. I'd love to be buying Spider-Boy. It's actually kind of fun. It's not a bad book. I liked Big Time back in the day with Humberto Ramos and, the Superior Spider-Man, the beginning of that. I liked that stuff. I didn't mind that one bit. I thought it was a really interesting, character turn. Like, because what else can you do with Spider-Man? Well, let's try the old-fashioned body switch. Okay, and I like the design of the costume. So, but I mean, seriously, Here are my pronouns, Dan Slott. Fuck and you. Put them in any order you want, you fuck. Serious. Fuck you, Dan Slott.
So, Dylan, a lot of people are bringing up Philip Kennedy Johnson. Obviously, he had the last good run on Action Comics. And I was told, like, I think 9 months ago, that the plan was for him to come back. And then all of a sudden they announced the Superstars as Superman stuff. And I guess he was going to do more of that House of L stuff that I personally liked. One of the few things that was good in Future State.
That one shot was amazing with that family House of L.
It to me. I hated it. I thought that was the worst fucking bit of, kind of just throwing shit out there just to get applause. It was nonsense. It didn't make sense in the timeline. It didn't make sense in anything.
I thought it was amazing, especially considering all the Future State stuff. It was
I would
awful,
talk to all the. Yeah, I didn't like that either, the Future State. But I know it was a while ago. But I dare anybody to tell me which of their favorite characters they had, because they were all just thrown at you. It just was nonsense. But that's me. You could explain it to me.
Well, it was.
All right. So, Aaron, you're going to leave?
Yeah, I apparently am inaudible, so there's no point in me being here.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I can kind of understand you, but if the people that
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I thought the audio got better when you joined. When you joined.
Have you tried turning the gain up just a little bit, or
tell the people in the chat what your pronouns are, and they're the same as Sully's. So just stay.
Well, Kaiser Sosa says he can hear you.
Yeah, I think your audio's fine.
Yeah, when you rejoined, it got better.
Is that
testicles? 1, 2.
Now
testicles,
you're good.
Testicles.
Now it's nice. Oh my
God. Okay.
Very smooth.
The dulcet tones of that.
Okay, I don't have to leave then. And I know that disappoints a few people. But...
Aaron left and Barry White showed up.
Let's get it on.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, so Jim, you absolutely hate the House of L stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, I just thought it was just fan service bullshit. That's all I thought it was. If we do get back to something and it's plotted out and whatnot, it might be better, which would be good. But as it was, I thought
this is what it is, Jim. It's like Game of Thrones, but with the offspring of Superman from all corners of the galaxy.
As they sat around watching and talking and yelling in space. There
threatening
was
each other.
There was nothing to it. It was all it was oh cool, look at all these cool characters. That
was also one
when it goes. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying though. But what you're saying is that the best thing you've ever read, for crying out loud, it might as well have been a bunch of pinups.
I think the best
don't lose your mind over a one.
I think being the best thing in Future State is a little different than the best thing you've ever read.
Well, I'm saying it wasn't the best thing in Future State.
I freaked out over the local cancellation special.
No, it was better than anything on Future State.
The first issue of even Harley was better than that. The Swamp Thing was better than that. The
first issue of Harley is good.
Aquaman was better than that. A lot of the first issues of those things were better than that. It was just a bunch of pinups of people yelling at each other. You guys are insane.
You see what I'm working with here?
You guys do is you see these. Oh my God, Superman!
He's so angry. He might want to check his balls for his ingrown hair or something. Because this guy's
my goodness, he's got a growth on his testicles.
Check your face for an ingrown fist. That's what you
Jim needs to go to the cardiologist. Have his balls checked.
No, I'm gonna podiatrist.
I come out and I tell everyone I have cerebral palsy, and suddenly he wants to fight me.
That's it. I'm gonna get you. No, that's one. There's a couple things like that always drive me nuts. It was fine, but the PLN. I mean, let's see what the story actually is. And he says we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it eventually. It'll be an annual. It'll be hopefully it'll be a mini. I expect if you have a Metamorpho and Captain Atom, you certainly can have a House of L Superman mini. Even if it was a Black Label 4 issue, something like that. I do expect to have that, and I hope I like it. All
right, so Aaron, now that we can hear you, I want your opinion on this. If Jim sees somebody with spina bifida, what do you think his reaction is? I think he just clotheslines them on principle.
Yep. No, I think he gives him a code breaker because Jim is just as likely to injure himself, so he'll he'll go full back on the concrete just to make a point.
Yes. All right. I'm looking at the chat now, looking with people.
So you wouldn't be excited for Philip Kennedy Johnson to be on Action again? You didn't like the War World saga? It was drawn out a little bit too much.
I thought it was drawn out a bit, but here's the problem is, and again, me and Dylan can fight again, but no. What happens, Philip Kennedy Johnson needs, if he's on Action Comics, They need to give him the idea, listen, we want you on for 50 issues. He needs to know that he has the time to write it because he does like to go and expand some things. He likes to deal with lore. He likes to make things bigger. And then what happens to him in a lot of books is then they say, you're done. And he only has 8 issues. 8 issues isn't enough. 6 issues isn't enough because of all the things. They have to get him and give him a wide berth and let him know we have confidence in this and you could do this for 2 years. And then I think.
But you can't do what Ram V did.
No.
Oh, see, man, everybody's stepping on my punchlines today. I was going to say, no, you give 50 issues to Ram V, and then nothing happens.
What happens with Ram V though is that he seems to think that if he doesn't tell a story, they can't kick him off a book, or he adds things. At the end of his Swamp Thing, they kept adding, and he just kept doing other wacky stuff, and new characters in the last issue. He's insane. But
what you guys don't understand though about Ram V is that he's creating art.
Yes,
you guys are looking for story. He's creating.
You're damn
art.
right. I just put New Gods. I put New Gods on my pull list yesterday. I'm looking forward to that.
Pretty good.
It's not
seriously.
Good. It's not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
Yul Carter says he doesn't like 50 issue arcs. Comic book retailer. He wants some nice and short bursts. He doesn't want a nice, big, long ass story. Can you believe that?
I can believe anything he says. He's a reputable comic book shop owner. And
I like a nice long run.
I think it depends on the writer. Some writers need that, though, And I don't think Philip Kennedy Johnson writes for the trade either. Like, there's people who will write for the trade, so they extend things. I think that's how he tells his stories. He likes to, really expand. I mean, even in The Incredible Hulk, he's doing it. It's not hit as well, in my opinion, but it's still pretty good. But, when you're going off to histories and things, he loves that. He loves that shit.
Are you still on Incredible Hulk, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm still really enjoying Incredible Hulk. I'm enjoying pretty much everything I've read from Philip Kennedy Johnson for the most part.
Batman Robin's damn good.
It's really good. 2 issues in, it's probably my favorite book at DC right now. I like it a lot.
Better than Green Lantern?
Yeah, I like it better than Green Lantern.
Wow.
Ooh,
nuts.
Wicked crazy.
That's the nuttiest thing Dylan's ever said. Jim, explain to Dylan why Green Lantern's the best book DC right now.
I will say though, that last issue of Batman and Robin, I loved it a lot. But Green Lantern's a bit bigger. That's the thing it has going for it. But that's the kind of book it is. That's just the book.
It was nice seeing Damian fail and reacting to it like a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does great with that Bruce Damian relationship.
I always like to see Damian fail at everything, including sales.
Did you guys?
Dion, what the fuck? Did Dion overtake Doc's little spot here?
He did.
Damian Wayne. Next thing you know, Doc's be like, that little fucker is a self-insert for Grant Morrison.
Probably is. Grant doesn't know how to write without one.
So, Doc, you're the big Marvel guy. Does Dan Slott coming over to Action Comics whet the appetite to come over and test out the distinguished competition?
No, it makes me happy that he's away from Marvel Comics. So that if he's writing any issues of Action Comics, in fact, the more issues he writes, the less chance there is that human Bucky's logo in a stupid hat can put him on an X book.
Very nice. So Evandro Antonio Cruz says Damian sucks. Tim is the best Robin. That's an opinion.
Sully, no, that's objectively
Tim's
true.
My least favorite. I don't like Tim at all, but I didn't grow up with Tim. So
let's do the best Robin. Sully, who's your best Robin?
Dick Grayson.
Good man. Jim, who's your best Robin?
Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's the best.
Tim and Stephanie.
Ooh, spoiler! God damn it. She's not even a Robin. She's
Gary Kelly.
Oh my god.
Dylan, who's the best Robin?
Dick Grayson.
It's Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's the best.
I always think the fight is for the second, is what it is.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson's the best.
The second.
And they've really ruined Tim over the years too.
Yeah, Tim is unrecognizable.
Second's Damian.
I like the Jason Todd Robin too because I was a kid growing up into be a teenager.
He's the same thing as Tim Drake, though.
Did you vote for him to die?
I didn't. My mom would let me call because it would cost 50 cents.
I vote every single month for Damian to die by not giving them money.
I thought you said you're like sending letters to the DP's offices.
He's
just
calling
like
some
kill
900
Damien.
number. He's in a group chat with a bunch of ladies yelling about Damien.
I created my own 900 number. and wait another 3 months. There will be an ad in DC Comics. Vote for Damian to die.
His like
Ooh,
clone
that's a good
already
idea.
killed him.
Yeah.
Yule says that Dick Grayson said Damian is the best Robin, but Dick Grayson is just a very nice person. And if you read Battle for the Cowl, where all the Robins got together and battled each other to see who was the true successor to Batman, I believe it was Nightwing, Dick Grayson that actually won out because he was the best Robin.
And at one point, right before Damien died, Dick said also that they were the best Batman and Robin. So that's the doom.
Also, any character that validates a modern character has now disqualified themselves from being a good character.
Not
as
allowed
well.
to vote.
Yeah, they lose their vote.
I think Damien's got potential to be one of the best Robins.
It's my
They use
second
him
favorite.
correctly.
I love him, and there's a lot of characters like that. You have to use them correctly. It's like Guy Gardner. Damien would show up, and a shit hack writer will just have Damien yell and scream and be a brat and whatever. There's more to it. And again, like what Joshua Williamson did really well too, and Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing. You see that he, the outside, the bravado that he has is because he is like a sensitive little kid. And when you get that, it really plays out well. And that last issue, it did it well. I mean, it did it real well.
That's a really kind way of saying that he's a pussy.
He might be.
He's a sensitive young lad.
He's a child. But there's only a handful of writers that can really write Damien well. Like Tomasi's one of them, but a lot of people he's the most annoying character.
They go
of all
surface
time.
level. They only read what the other hack writer wrote. So
they read
like, or he shows up and he's like, "You guys all suck," and that's not it. It's It's like, my other favorite character, Riri Williams, right, Doc? I love her. No, that's a character that's trouble. But again, a lot of these characters that come out, they say there's no bad characters, just bad writers. There are bad characters, but there's a lot of bad writers.
Yeah,
and
Damien's a bad character.
You son of a bitch.
He got you there in the end. So to wrap up the Dan Slott thing, so the only thing that ever works for Dan Slott is writing Spider-Man. My suggestion is that he will create Super Spider-Man Man, and therefore he will be able to get his Spider-Man stuff in there. Dylan,
Ultimate Man Spider.
He can't do Superboy because that's taken. He can't do Supergirl.
Right.
What weird derivative version of a character is he going to make? Because he's going to create the Superverse.
Boy, Super.
Oh yeah, obviously he's going to do the Superverse. It's this little shtick.
Yeah.
He's going to. Oh, you know what he's going to do? Obviously, either Superverse, or he'll make Sideways into the Spider-Man that's now Superman's sidekick.
Cool.
Sideways back.
Sideways, Silencer shows up. You can get them all.
Alternate uniforms for Superman.
Yeah.
Body switch with Lex Luthor. It's going to be Superior Superman.
I'm guessing Naomi. I'm not even joking. I think Naomi might be in it. He'll bring her back. Give a little nod.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
Man, I love that Justice League issue from Brian Michael Bendis when Naomi shows up and literally in the background, Superman and Batman are beside themselves. They've finally seen what a real superhero looks like. They're like,
yep. And then two years after she's been around, she's like, I got my powers yesterday. Nobody knows what they are. Yeah.
Sully,
Superman and Batman were drooling.
If there's a Naomi fan on this panel, it was you. Did you like Naomi?
I missed that, thank God. You guys got me back into buying comics with Jeremy Adams' The Flash. So I kind of missed the whole Infinite Frontier era because I took a break after Heroes in Crisis. I was done. Especially, I'm a big Wally West fan. And you guys were like, you're not reading Jeremy Adams, The Flash? You? And I did. And boom, it was a gateway
called you out.
That's why
you called me out on my bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I skipped Naomi. Yeah, I just know the stories of what you guys say, and it's like, oh great, Bendis is at it again. It's what
like Riri Williams 2.0.
Riri in DC. Yeah.
but with all the powers.
Also,
of
like Teen
Superman.
Lantern too, right?
Kind of, yeah. Well, yeah, she stole the technology and all that stuff, like Riri did.
Naomi, though, a comic book muscle was saying Naomi's so good. My Naomi wasn't good. You never got her power set. You barely knew anything about her. He just kept extending things to try to get it, and it was just people were grabbing it because they thought it was the next Miles. So then it ended up selling really well. That made a TV show that was awful. It was just not. I read every issue. It was not good. And then she was on the Justice League too. It was like everything that people hate about Elevation and things like that. It just was not good.
It was all like corporate syzygy stuff.
If it kept on its own, and like speaking of Dan Slott, the idea where people were upset at Spider-Boy, if they played Naomi just on her own little thing, doing her own thing, it could have developed and been better, but it ended up just getting too big too quick.
Let's hear from the peoples. We've got Mike Ortega. Sully, what's your favorite comics to read during the Christmas season? What gets you in the Christmas spirit?
What gets me in the Christmas spirit? I like it came out last year, but that Dark Knight Santa Claus book, that was great. That's getting a sequel that's coming out, I think, next week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot. That was some great art and a really good use of Santa Claus as a DC character. That was fun.
I like that one. The Klaus series from Grant Morrison, not my favorite writer, but he used to come out with like a Klaus thing, I think on Dark Horse, like every Christmas season. And they're actually really good.
Dan Mora on art, so it's good. I usually read Heroes in Crisis.
That's what
Lobo
gets you in
Paramilitary Christmas Special.
Yeah, that is really good. Heroes in Crisis for me, Sully.
Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special, Doc?
Yeah.
I haven't read that. Should I check it out?
Oh, yes, you should. If you like the
Santa?
main man, that's what he spends the entire comic
trying to do. That's pretty good. I'll probably check that one out. What's your favorite Christmas story? What gets you in the season, Dylan?
Man, the only thing I could think of is Batman Noel. That's like it. I can't really think of any, and that wasn't like something I loved.
Do you consider The Long Halloween to even be a Christmas book because there is Christmas in it, even though it's called The Long Halloween?
I mean, I guess you kind of count it, but not really. It's not really a Christmas book.
No. I don't know. Do you consider Batman 89 a Christmas movie? I'm sorry, Batman 2, The Return.
I do. Yes.
I guess there's enough snow around.
Ridiculous. Jim, is Batman
Cool Runnings? No, it could be, but Cool Runnings, good Christmas. It has snow. I don't know. I don't really get into Christmas.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Does that make me a hypocrite if I think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but I don't think Batman Returns is?
I think they both could be. And Lethal Weapon.
Right. And Iron Man 3.
Yeah. No. I'd say Iron Man 3 is just as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard or...
No, ridiculous.
Lethal Weapon. Yeah.
Any other Christmas comic books anybody wants to mention? Nope. All right, we're moving on.
Also, it's Thanksgiving. We haven't.
Yeah.
We're stop doing the thing where we skip fucking holidays.
Plenty of JSA Thanksgiving issues you could read. They usually got together on Thanksgiving. Everybody eating, so there's some of those.
The Rockefellers is my new favorite Thanksgiving book.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
And I'm excited for the Christmas special.
The thing is, I've never seen a Thanksgiving grilling out in the snow, but then it was crazy. It's crazy.
Seems like it would be cold. Mr. DC Comics, I say it's a conspiracy. DC is not allowed to be better than Marvel. Every time DC has a good run, they sabotage themselves. Remember DC Rebirth.
Well, remember, 4 years ago on the channel, all I said was, all they have to do is not fuck up. Just don't fuck things up. And then they hired Daniel Cherry and did 5G.
Daniel Cherry, nobody even remembers that. That was hilarious. That guy did a lot, right?
Yeah, remember when they announced Batman crossover?
Remember when he announced he quit and we were like, nobody even knew that he was still there. But yeah, the Rebirth got fucked up, but it got fucked up around the time, I think, what Sully said with Heroes in Crisis, where they started letting people do stupid shit.
Well, and they kicked off Tomasi and Dan Jurgens
Yeah,
off of
yeah,
Superman, brought in Bendis to ruin both of those books.
Yeah.
That's about the time that people realized that this terrible Batman run that you've been reading is in fact terrible.
Yeah.
What do you think that happened, Dylan? What do you think people really finally realized? Like, wow, it wasn't word, jokes, and riddles for some reason, which was when I realized it was terrible. But it was was it Batman 50? Is that the one that people were like, oh, this is garbage?
Yeah, I remember everyone was very upset with the fake wedding. I think that was when I saw the most exodus on the Batman book. I think that was when I saw the most people be like, yeah, we're just done with this. I think that was the big point where people just got fed up with the Batman book. Like, oh, Tom King's actually not the next Alan Moore. He's not so good at this whole thing. He's just doing an imitation.
Yeah, and then you had that nightmares, like things started. But even if you remember the couple issues before the wedding, they were pretty bad. That's where Batman let people die in churches. And
Joker
and
just
people,
murder a lady in a chapel.
People started to go, yeah, but the wedding, it'll be bad. And then when it didn't happen, but I'm with US. I actually got sick and tired of it after the I Am Suicide arc, even before the deal, and it was just
Bruce's little kid,
just nonsense.
Alfred seeing it happen, did do nothing.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. So I don't know. People were still like so into it though, and like just wanting to fight about it.
Yeah. But every time it does feel like it, Dylan. You know, as a DC fan, oh, you got momentum. You're about to overtake Marvel. You've got better books across the board. What can you do to destroy yourself? Well, let's go hire some people from Marvel and replace the people that are successful right now.
And no one wants this. No one wants Dan Slott. No one was asking for Dan Slott. I don't get it. He's never really had a heyday where you could point to and be like, oh, this guy will dominate at DC. There's not a lot of Dan Slott fans you're going to be getting. DC does have this habit of self-sabotaging, and it's very annoying because you know when you're finally in a good moment at DC, like you just had with Philip K. Johnson's Superman, you know it's like this is going to end any time now. There's no way they can maintain this, and it's sad. It'd be nice if they could actually keep it going for a little bit.
RateX7 says instead of the big two trying to sell comics based on creator names, they should try to sell comics based on concepts and ideas.
Superverse. There's the idea.
Or, and this is just a crazy idea, they could start selling comics based on the comics actually being good and people wanting to read them. I know that sounds batshit insane, especially to people like Tom Brevoort, who still does not understand that just because he greenlights it doesn't mean it's good. And everyone else in media that just thinks, well, I greenlit it, that means it's good, right? No, it doesn't. And these fucking retards that run every media company can't seem to get through their fucking skulls.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Sully, where I don't buy books based on the characters anymore, which is certainly how I was when I first started. I just follow the writer around. And sometimes
I'm with you there. Yeah, I'll pick up anything by Jeremy Adams. Like I missed Flash Gordon 4 this week. I'm kicking myself in the pants.
Big mistake. That was the best issue yet.
Oh man, I have to go back to the store and dig that one up. And it's right on the new release shelf, Sully.
I especially like that they stole the New Mutants font, the Krakoan era New Mutants font for their title. It's literally the exact same font. It's so weird.
Probably just comes in a pack.
More than likely, every time I see that book on the shelf, I'm like, they're doing more New Mutants.
Would you spend money on a new font for a Vita Ayala New Mutants book, or would you just grab one out of a pack that you have?
Well, at least whenever it was launched, it was a Jonathan Hickman New Mutants book.
Yeah,
and they still have the same
it was half
shitty
him and half of
Ed Brisson. Yeah, but it was still a Jonathan Hickman because he still did 6 issues. Ed Brisson also did 6, and they alternated for some inexplicable reason while telling different stories. But they couldn't.
I like to think. I like to think that Doc is just out there in the rain, just yelling at people. It's papyrus. It's papyrus. to see this, like the Ryan Gosling sketch.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think they would have sprung for a new font for that, but I mean, well, who's reigning Flash Gordon?
Jeremy Adams.
Jeremy Adams.
Okay, yeah, he's the one that they couldn't spring for a new font for.
Yeah, the guy that they should have, because
yes,
that guy delivers on every single, like, I can't think of a book that he's been on that he hasn't delivered on.
I know, but apparently he can't sell enough for them to spring for a new fucking font.
He hasn't earned what Vita Ayala has earned.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got HH the boys over at Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Think Critical team. Arturo Thunder Gotti versus Irish Mickey Ward is all today's writers need to watch for inspiration. Here Comes Calico is all you need for more chest and ball hair. Get it on Kickstarter now. Absolutely.
When's HH coming on Aficionados? Convention season's wrapping up, right?
HH is always on the road.
He's always on the go.
Yeah, but
ring light.
But like we're getting into the holidays, it feels like there's got to be at least one weekend where HH isn't at a convention, right?
No, because then he doubles as security for Santa that night. You ever wonder why nothing bad ever happens to Santa? He's got H.H. Germain on his wing.
People are shooting at Spirit Airlines now. Santa definitely needs some protection.
Red One is the life story of HH.
Dylan, so you're an MMA guy. Are you a boxing guy? Have you seen Arturo Gotti versus Mickey Ward, the trilogy?
No, not a big boxing guy.
Absolutely amazing stuff. One of the best fighting trilogies I've ever seen in my life. Each one of the fights was really, really good. It's right up there with anything that I've ever seen when it comes to boxing. Very, very good stuff. And then after Ward retired, he cornered Arturo Gotti for his last fight when he lost to, oh my goodness, was it Floyd Mayweather? It was somebody. No, it might have been Canelo. Somebody like that. Yeah. When are you going to get into boxing? It's a real sport.
A real sport. Yeah, and then you watch the sport that just had Jake Paul fight one of your legends. That's a real sport? Okay.
I don't think anybody thought the Mike Tyson fight was a real fight. It was an exhibition.
I mean, plenty of people tuned in and were bitching about it.
The fact that it was sanctioned, like if it would have been the same as like the Roy Jones Jr. fight, where it was an unsanctioned fight and it didn't go on anybody's record and it was obviously an exhibition, I think people would have been a whole hell of a lot less pissed about it. I'm still
You're still mad.
pissed. I am.
Yeah, see,
you wasted more time on Tyson than when you and I wasted on Exceptional X-Men.
Exactly. Ugh.
By the way, that Exceptional X-Men cover, just two chicks yelling at each other. Like,
yeah.
That's actually very good representation of the book. That's what it is.
Yeah, but what the hell happened to just covers? Like, I'm looking at so many covers. I'm looking at the cover of like Storm this week, and I'm like, good God, when did when did they make Storm ugly? Like, she's ugly now. Storm used to be gorgeous, and now like they're doing these
Emma
covers.
Looks bad
like,
in the book too.
Damn your male gaze.
Well, it's always weird. It's always weird to me when they give Storm the white eyebrows.
Yeah,
it never looks right. It throws her entire face off. By the way, I just watched Face Off again for the first time since in theaters last night. That is a movie. That is a really dumb movie.
Yes, it is.
It's so exceedingly stupid.
I loved it.
Amazing.
I loved it.
It's hilariously dumb. Like, there's a point where it's like so many things blow up in that movie that I told my
it's
friend.
the absolute Batman of movies. It's amazing.
I said a couple of times, I said, like, does this take place in Gotham? Like, everything is so over the top. It felt like a really bad Batman movie. And I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but like, there's one point where there's so many things explode in that movie inexplicably that I turned to my friend and I said, it's really the 67th explosion in a movie that grabs you. That's the one that's really meaningful.
It might as well have been made by Michael Bay.
Yeah, you get numb to everything that's happening after a while, and it just sort of washes over you. And there's at least 3 points where you're like, okay, the movie's wrapping up. Oh, now there's a boat chase. Okay.
It's like it was during Jerry Bruckheimer's, like, before he made Michael Bay into Michael Bay, like right before they and that Bruckheimer moved away from doing all that shit. Michael Bay's still doing it.
Yeah. Wow. So I recommend that everybody go watch Face Off and just marvel.
Absolutely,
at,
it's amazing.
At what we had.
And lust after Gina Gershon in her
Yep.
prime. Beautiful.
I want to take his face off.
Then
No
you go
more
watch-
drugs.
Then you
for
go
that
watch
man.
Bound.
See, here's why Bound. Here's why Face Off is so genius. Not only does it describe the fact that the two main characters are going to face off, but they take their faces off.
Yeah. Yes. All right, Dylan. On the MMA front, I read somewhere that being a UFC fan is an alt-right dog whistle. Is that true?
Probably because everyone's shouting out Trump after they win now, and they're not happy about that. Like John Jones literally went over cage side and gave him the belt after he won. A lot of people very upset about that.
Did you cry?
No.
Oh,
For the record, I want him wearing the belt at the inauguration.
no, you got to strap it over one shoulder. You don't wear
Yeah.
it on a suit.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
No, I think he comes out with it in his teeth like Bubba Ray Dudley. Like, you know.
Yeah. Calls for the tables.
And come down to the Dudley theme. That'd be amazing.
Trump has his own walkout music at UFC because he goes to so
Yes.
many events and he's best friends with Dana. So he walks out and he has his own walkout music.
Very nice. There you go. And H8 says I can come next week or the following. Well, I will reach out to you, sir. We will make that absolutely happen. We'll have some fun here on the Aficionados and talk about Calico and a bunch of nonsense. And we can talk about the time that I think you're on a card with Vitor Belfort, a very young Vitor Belfort back in the day before he was a UFC champion. Very, very cool. What else we got? We got the comic industry. Speaking of, I guess, alt-right dog whistles, I guess that's what Twitter is now. And the entire
Yep.
comic industry announced that they were leaving Twitter for bluer skies, I guess.
Blueski, right? That's how you say it.
I thought
Blueski.
a blueski was like a tweet. It's like
I thought a
I thought it
Blueski
was
my
something
Blueski.
else. I thought it was
I thought it
Wednesday
was-
at the truck stop.
I
was-
thought that's what you got at the truck stop.
Oh.
It's when
Yeah.
they do it while you hold your breath.
A Blueski ain't cheating.
Sparrow, did you see
it's
my
at a
blueski?
Boston
I sent you a
truck stop.
blueski.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch.
Isn't that how David Carradine died?
Wow!
And the guy from InXS too.
Michael Hutchins, R.I.P.
Didn't they make that into a Law and Order episode?
I think so.
Yeah.
God.
Do you remember when
They
David
make everything
Carradine
Law
died
and
and
Order.
his publicist came out and was trying to say, no, he didn't die from like messing up on autoerotic asphyxiation. He was murdered because he was there and investigating the Yakuza or some shit.
Yeah, it was that. That's what he said. I think that he died doing it right.
Oh God, I did not see this happening, but I'm glad I'm here. I forgot about the David Carradine thing. That was so weird.
Dylan wins best joke of the of the stream, man.
A Blueski victim.
By the way, on Max's show this week, we were talking about all of the comic pros fleeing to Twitter and all the actors fleeing to Twitter, and I think it was Kyle named because Max said, "What do you know?" He started to say tweets on Blue Sky, and then he goes, "No, what do you call them on Blue Sky?" And Kyle said that on Blue Sky they're queefs.
There you go. Wow.
Well, whatever is the term for screaming into the fucking void, that's what they're doing.
I don't know. My
I mean, I
favorite
think it's
thing,
great.
Aaron, was
Isolate
like,
yourself.
immediately, we don't know what to do with this amount of complaints. There's more complaints today than in an entire year. That it's like all of a sudden Blue Sky is like inundated with child pornography and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that explains why all the actors are running over there, right?
Oh, goodness.
Whoa, but I'm
The
bumped.
Diddy party list.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they should
Are
just- they should just call it-
Are you
yeah, just call
mourning the exodus of comics Twitter to Blue Sky? It feels like the fans stayed on Twitter.
Yeah, the fans stayed on Twitter. Normal
Yeah.
people stayed on Twitter. Like every time I see somebody announce that I'm over on Blue Sky now, like I just see the Simpsons meme of I'm over on Blue Sky, Homer yelling in the car, and then Carl and Lenny going, "What did he say? I don't know, something about being gay." That's what I see
Something
every
about
single
being
time.
a pedophile. No, like seriously, you know what the interesting part about it is? They went to Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And their engagement didn't change. It stayed at zero. Because even none of the readers went, but none of the comic book industry right now gets any engagement with their readers anyway, because they don't have readers, because no one buys it.
Well, they also just have everybody on Twitter blocked, like Sully.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many comic creators can you get blocked by just by like your association? I mean, like, that's just so unfair, man. Gee, take that shit over.
You're talking to me. If you're talking to me on Twitter, you're getting blocked by a whole host of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't they don't have me blocked, but like I'll compliment them and like they can't respond. You know, and like they've told me privately at shows, like, look, I'm sorry, I just can't respond. You know, because then I'll get blacklisted, or this associate or this assistant editor won't talk to me, or you know, et cetera, and I'm like, it's okay, I get it.
Sarah Brunstad won't confuse you for a lesbian and hire you.
Yeah, the funniest thing about the Blue Sky thing is them still being on Twitter and constantly talking about how they're on Blue Sky. I see that all the time. They're like, we're having a great time over here, by the way. It's just, okay, just stay over there. Why are you still on Twitter?
Nobody cares.
I'm not on Blue Ski. Is anyone here on the panel got a Blue Ski, especially for like pimping your shows or weird?
No,
signs,
why would I?
You know,
why would I want to go over there and talk to 3 people? Like it is, it literally is just screaming into the void. Like there's no engagement over there.
There's no engagement because they all are such like just manginas that they block everybody.
Yeah.
It's literally like, hey, I'm over here. But if you talk to me and you say anything that I disagree with even slightly, like, look, I really like Rob Liefeld. The problem is that man has the thinnest skin of anyone that I've ever met.
Did he get mad at me when I suggested that the page should be going for more?
Yes, he did at the time. And then, like, because he thought that I don't think he liked that you pumped it to what he thought was an unimaginable level so that it would then fall short. I don't know. Like, but.
And I was right?
Yes, you were right. But my point on this is, like, every single one of them have thinner skins than Rob. Every single fucking comic creator. And like, you know, that's been like Rob's thing for a long time. As much as I really love the guy, man's got a very thin skin, and that's been like one of his big flaws.
Yeah. Well, he took so much shit over the years. You know, like, you know, I kind of get it. But yeah, it was weird because it was like, no, Rob, I'm actually like complimenting. You know, it's actually a compliment. I'm saying, like, this seems like it's going for too little. It seems like this is an important page and it should be going for more. And I think he took it like I was trying to, like, you know, like diss what it was going for. And I was like, no, I'm saying it's going to go for more. I'm saying it deserves better. And then so I was just like, all right. But then, you know, it bore out. It made almost $1 million, like I said.
Yeah. But like every comic creator has somehow thinner skin than him. And then they go to Blue Sky and just literally do nothing but report everything and block everyone. What the fuck is the point of a social media platform that you can't socialize on?
I remember an artist telling me, like, oh, I hate, like, when I post something on Twitter and all these randos come in and comment. And I'm like, Twitter is the public square. That's what, like, just run a private account where you only let people follow you that you know, if that's what you want to do. But then why aren't you just in a group somewhere? Like, what, you know, why aren't you in a group chat? Why are you on social media? The point of social media is interacting with people, is interacting with the public, interacting with fans, interacting with customers. That is the point of being on there. And if you can't do that, then get off. Get out of here. Go to Blue Sky where there's only 3 people paying attention to you.
In fairness, the comic creators, though, them not understanding that there's socialization aspect of social media is also because they're the same retards that don't understand that what they do is commercial art. And they don't like the commercialism aspect of their art.
I don't work for the reader. I work for the publisher. So guess who the publisher works for?
Yes. So, like, these people are that retarded. They don't think commercial art should have to be commercially viable, and they don't like the fact that you have to socialize on social media. I don't understand how we can make it any easier for these people, but I don't think they should be permitted around sharp objects.
I get it. Like the internet's.
I wouldn't trust him with string.
Dylan,
who you really miss? I was saying, like, who would you really think you're missing out on anyway? Who from like comics has that's an amazing Twitter. That man, if I lost that, that's a big part of my day that I am upset about.
If I can't hear the deep thoughts of Mark Brooks, I don't know how I'll get through my day.
Okay,
Exactly.
there is one that I was disappointed that moved over and has basically moved all I don't see anything of his anymore. Brett Booth. I don't see any of Brett's art anymore, and that is terribly disappointing. It really is. So he's one of the ones that fled over to Blue Sky that I actually do miss because I don't get to see his art. I'm not signing up for your truck stop blowjob store.
Bluesky.
Yeah, your Bostonian truck stop blowjob shop. Not going to sign up for it. Yeah, well, that's the problem. You don't want to know what's in the chowder there.
That's right. You know, just say you go to like Alan Scott. You go down to the docks. You get yourself an Alabama crag dangle and a Bluesky.
Whoa! There you go.
But so that's the only one that I feel like I'm missing out on.
There you go. So, Dylan, what does it feel like to be the only person on this panel that's digitally native?
Feels fine, I guess.
I hate that term. Like, they're digitally native. They've been playing on devices their whole lives. Like, oh, whatever that.
We had fucking Paul.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Yeah. I played on Atari. I'm digitally native.
Yeah,
you guys. I had a speaking spell.
Game Boy.
Dragon Slayer. Oh, that wasn't it.
Again, Mattel Pocket Football too. That was the best game ever.
Yeah, Tiger Toys.
Exactly. Back in you played
those Tiger games
Tron?
sucked.
You didn't like Tron?
The Tiger games are basically just like those little, like, you know, oh man, that was all we had though. That was the way it was, and we liked
the Tron sequel. I thought the Tron sequel was pretty good.
I like the Tron sequel movie as well. Tron Legacy.
Yeah,
I love Tron Legacy.
Yeah,
it's
I thought that was really good.
I like the soundtrack a heck of a lot better than the
I didn't
movie
like the
at
Jeff
first.
Bridges digital face thing, but other than that, it was good.
Yeah.
It looked bad, but also it kind of fits in like the Tron world with how bad it looks. I feel like that kind of in the type of movie it is, it works. But yeah, that's a horrible, horrible representation of.
Yeah, because the technology was old but evolved, and it actually had like an evolution to it. But it kind of evolved a little weird sometimes, so I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
apparently there's a third Tron movie in production.
Yes. But Jared Leto's in it.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, and the director has made, I can't remember, he's made some like horrible movies, and it does not get me excited at all.
Tron 3 director. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah,
Yoshim Roning.
Who?
We just got like the first screenshot from the new Tron.
Look, I'm sorry, but it's a Disney movie being made now with a product or a property.
He made like the Maleficent sequel. Sorry to cut you off, Doc.
Yes.
And he made like the last Pirates of the Caribbean. So yeah, this guy hasn't really done stellar stuff.
But I mean, look, it's a Disney movie with an old property being made now. How long? The only question is how long into it before we're getting told that we're racist for liking the original.
Well, and how bad is Jared Leto going to be? He's like,
I mean, I can see the vision already. How to be non-binary in a world full of ones and zeros.
Yep.
Inside, you know, on the grid, you know, I see it.
Sully's voice there it's just fucking chef's kiss, dude.
Can we put Jared Leto in a movie? Can we put Jared Leto in a movie with The Rock, just so that we can get reports of, you know, Jared Leto being weird, but it doesn't matter on set, but it doesn't matter because The Rock hasn't shown up.
And why didn't they get Cillian Murphy? I mean, he was in like the second Tron movie. He was Dillinger Jr. I mean, what happened to that plot thread? Come on.
They're not touching the second one at all. Which is sad.
Yeah, they dropped all of the plot.
That's weird because usually Hollywood is all about touching.
Yeah, especially inappropriate.
Waka waka. Of all the movies that have been made in 3D with the new technology, I think the Tron Legacy and obviously the James Cameron Avatar movie are the ones that did it the best. I thought it was
I'm
great.
so happy we're past that 3D phase of every movie being in 3D and charging more and 3D sucking.
You didn't like Texas Chainsaw 3D?
You didn't like Resident Evil in 3D? He throws the axe at you, Dylan, and it comes spinning right at you.
They re-released Phantom Menace in 3D, and there was like one scene that actually had 3D. That was it. It was when when Darth Maul falls off that cliff with the when he's on a speeder, like that part was like weirdly in 3D. That was it.
Do they still do 3D TVs? I remember someone trying to sell me one of those like 15 years ago.
I haven't seen them, but they went to the curved TVs a while ago.
Yeah,
those are dumb too.
I like I love going to see a 3D movie because I like paying more to see less of the film.
Yeah.
Well, the glasses are uncomfortable.
Yeah,
make your nose hurt. It's always nice.
Well, and you just miss stuff. Like you just miss stuff that's going on because there's just like
because the sides get weird.
Yeah, it gets really strange. I can't stand it. I never liked the 3D stuff.
Not even Avatar.
I mean, I went and saw it in 3D and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. But I went and saw it in regular first because I wanted to actually watch the movie.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, let's go see what the 3D is all about. And I went back. So yeah, they tricked me into paying for that twice.
Are you excited for Avatar: The Way of Fire?
No, although I did watch The Way of Water or whatever it was when it came out on streaming, and I didn't hate it. Like I was like, oh, this was an enjoyable watch. But the weird thing about the Avatar movies is they are immediately forgettable.
Yes.
Like you just as soon as you're done, you're like, what? They're just empty calories. Like what did we just watch? Like nothing about it stuck with me. I couldn't really describe the plot to you. I could describe maybe a couple of scenes.
It's Black Panther 2.
No, because Black Panther 2, I was actually like, this is bad.
I mean, it's Dances with Wolves.
Yeah,
in space.
Yeah, Dances with Smurfs.
Hot Smurfs.
Yeah, she looked great.
Blue ski.
I like.
Circle. You still haven't toppled Dylan this week.
I'm getting
pretty good.
It's gonna happen.
He'll teach me comedy.
Yeah, Dylan, explain comedy to Jim.
But I haven't noticed any major changes on Twitter. Still lots of memes and people promoting stuff.
No, I mean it's I think Twitter is more fun. It's more the Wild West. People are saying outrageous stuff. Like it's just kind of like when the internet was young.
I still don't understand how the
message boards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still don't understand though how the second Avatar movie made $2 billion. Like I thought I didn't know anybody that saw it.
I didn't either. Like nobody talked about it. I think it's because they walked out of the theater and they forgot.
It's like Memento, but if you could be infected with it as a virus.
I saw it.
I watched it on an airplane. I can't remember.
I did the same thing. I watched it on an airplane.
That's the best way.
I just remember there's like 45 minutes in the middle where nothing happens. I was like, yeah, they could have cut that out. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent movie.
I remember thinking that like there's a lot of things that are just happening, there's no setup for the bad guy's back, and like that wasn't obviously set up in the first film. It was just there's a lot of retro.
There's a Sparrow
big thing about whales. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver is now his kid somehow.
Yeah,
she's also like Jesus for them too. I remember that being a plot point. So that was something. I always have a hard time cheering against humans though, so I'm always just like kill all the blue people. In these movies, I'm pro humanity.
Like fuck that, the unobtainium is too valuable.
Yeah, I'm like nuke Pandora. Like these stupid big cat people with their big arrows. Like we've got
giant Smurfs.
We've got spaceships. We've got jets. Just take them out. Who cares?
You were rooting for Giovanni Ribisi the whole time.
Yeah.
I like that. Stay true to the humans.
Unless it's against Godzilla or Transformers, and in which case I will betray humanity.
That's more fair.
Well, in Transformers, there's humans to root for. You've got Shia.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Shia.
But you can root for Mark Wahlberg.
Well, hey, he's an inventor. These could help with my inventions. The best thing about that is like we got to keep this Transformer. This could really help with my invention. There's nothing that about the Transformers that is applicable to you putting a robot dog on a remote control car. Those two technologies, your level of the technologies you're working with are not compatible whatsoever.
So Transformers movie, there's a moment where he finds out his teenage daughter's dating this college guy. And he found a law that enables him to bang his daughter, and he fucking laminated it. I was like, how is this guy not dead?
I'll tell you why. Because some producer on the film I'll tell you what needs to transform. What needs to transform is this country's attitude about underage banging.
You know? Like,
they were on the Epstein party list. And the Diddy party list.
Weird. Yeah.
I remember someone behind me saying, "Why is this in the movie?" And then I just responded, "Why are we in this movie?"
And Jose the Beast chimes in on the Twitter league and says, "Yeah, they're complaining about first world problems. It's sad. It is sad, especially when I live here in the Philippines and people think they have it bad in the U.S. You have no idea.
People have no idea like the crushing level of poverty in other countries.
Yes, absolutely. So good point there, Jose the Beast. I guess the last thing we'll talk about is the best-selling comic of 2024. Did you read the article, Aaron?
No, I didn't read it.
So DC told the Popverse unequivocally Absolute Batman is the best-selling comic book of 2024, but we will not tell you how many we sold. And they don't know how many comics Marvel has sold, but they're quite certain it was Batman or Absolute Batman. And the rumor is that it's 400,000. That's a pretty good number.
I don't think that's true at all. I mean, if you count every single reprint, maybe.
Yes, that's what they're counting.
What about Transformers #1?
That was in 2023.
Oh yeah, you got me there.
But the big one would have been TMNT #1, which did 250,000, which was bigger than the first print for Absolute Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think did G.I. Joe top that?
I don't think so. I think G.I. Joe did 150, but we don't know any of the numbers. But are you excited that Absolute Batman is the best-selling comic book of 2024? Even though
Big Dumb Batman? Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm glad that everybody's reading Big Dumb Batman. It is so big and so dumb. It's a laugh riot. I'm having a really good time with it. It's the best Batman parody that's ever been written.
Oh, gee.
Sully, are you paying for the Absolute Batman?
I did. I got 2 copies of issue 1. No, I got 3 copies of issue 1. Actually, here's a good one for us. Our friend AL in the chat, she sent me a copy of Absolute Batman from New York Comic Con, signed by Nick Dragotta. And it's like the first thing a viewer has ever sent me. And I was just like, oh, this is so cool. Oh. So I'm going to bring it to Dallas, and hopefully Snyder will be there. I'm going to get Scott Snyder to sign it too. It's going on my spinner rack.
So what you're saying is AL likes you more than me?
Maybe.
Oh goodness.
No, you live in the Philippines, and it's hard to ship there.
No, the shipping would be absolutely outrageous. I'm teasing, of course. No, that's absolutely awesome. She sent you that.
Yeah, and I got a copy for my 14-year-old nephew. His dad, my best friend, liked it more than the kid did. And I got
the kid didn't like Big Dumb Batman. The world's worst detective.
Well enough. I thought I wanted to know what hey kid, here's a funny book. What do you think? And he was like, meh, it's all right. I'm like, all right.
I finally got my son to read the first volume of Super Sons this weekend.
Oh,
and
cool.
He was like, I love this book. And he wants the next volume.
Nice. And he said, let me introduce you to some Tom Taylor work.
No, what I said was, screw you, kid. Jim says that Super Sons is completely overrated, and you shouldn't even like this.
Yeah, that a 5-year-old thinks that it's mind-bending.
He's 9.
That goes 9. Bill, that's who it's written for. Grow up. Jerk.
You still read comic books, Jim?
I do. It's a fine book for a 9-year-old.
The
character work is great. I bet
you
if you talk to him after he reads the whole trade and you say, well, what did you like? And I like that Damien this, and I like that John's this. I'm not thinking he's going, well, that Kid Amazo really blew my mind. That character is the greatest. I think it's the character work that he likes.
Isn't that the challenge of the Super Sons?
No, that is Rex Luthor.
Oh, you're right.
Now, quite frankly, if you ask, then I get a little upset because not only was Kid Amazo bullshit the first time, but at the end of the trade, he comes back and he's bullshit again. So the story sucked. It was all about the character work. The character work was impeccably great. It was awesome, but the stories were lame. Or does
the 9-year-old said the art was what really blew.
Well, the art's really good too. Did he like when he went off to the mystical world where they had to get Krakow? I mean, people don't even remember these stories because it was like Avatar. You're like, I don't remember what happened, but those kids were cool.
So if Absolute Batman is the best-selling book of the year, what's actually the best book of the year? A book that was worth reading?
G.I. Joe. Number 1.
G.I. Joe.
I have 4 in the competition for the best comic book series of the year. It's Green Lantern,
Rook Exodus,
Transformers, and Conan the Barbarian.
All solid. Yeah, that's a Sophie's choice right there.
Yeah, I know. I've got to come up with my best comic book of the year video soon. I'm struggling. I don't know if G.I. Joe gets in there. We'll only have 2 issues of it.
I know what the best book of 2025 is. I know what the best book of 2025 is going to be. Kneel Before Doomface. Which, in a way, reminds me of Private American. Which you guys can get from Antarctic Press. Number 1, it's coming out from Antarctic Press. So be sure to go check that out.
All right, Dylan, what's your pick for book of the year? What do you think the bee's knees? What's the top of the list?
Rook's definitely up there. My favorite's probably still Geiger. I love Geiger. I just bought into that whole world, and I love Geiger.
Even the last issue?
I still enjoyed the last issue. I mean, this last issue is more set up, and also without Gary Frank, it's hard. But this last issue, I can give him 1 issue off where it's all set up. Yeah, it was all just set up for what's going to happen next issue with how that ends. It got me excited for the next issue. Wolverine Deep Cut's definitely up there. I really enjoyed Wolverine Deep Cut.
That was excellent.
That'd be one of my favorites. But I'd say Rook, Geiger, Wolverine Deep Cut. Those are probably like my.
Did you read the Lobo cancellation special?
Yes, that was really good.
Flash Gordon should be up there too. That's really good.
I read the first issue of Flash Gordon. I haven't read anything past that, but I did like the first
issue.
Probably
the weakest, so I think you'll really enjoy it if you
getting better.
Yeah.
Does Space Ghost make it into your guys' top 10?
Yes.
I won't allow it.
It's definitely in my top 10, but Sully ain't got room. He's got Venom War. It's Jeff.
Yeah, it's Jeff.
Dude, that was such a disappointment. Let me tell you, I was expecting great things out of Kelly.
The only one expecting something from Jeff.
I expected a lot more fun. It was just terrible.
Yeah, because Kelly Thompson seems really fun, huh?
Yeah, screams fun.
Ask Rick Remender how fun Kelly Thompson is.
The Venom War Lethal Protectors #3 was better this week than Venom War It's Jeff. It's stupid, but it's like it was supposed to be fun, and it just wasn't. And so you missed it. You missed it.
So Sully, your suspect of the week was Spider-Man Reign 2 #5 was amazing.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I love the art. I love the last panel of the last page. I like the ending. It landed very well. You know what surprised me this week? It was Sentinels #2 from the Ashes books. I mean, that one surprised the heck out of me. I like the artwork.
Surprised you read it,
dude. I was.
Well, they had a red band version, so Sully had to read it.
Jeff showed up.
It's a special crossover.
There's some onomatopoeia in the book. I gotta see this.
Yeah, this is the oil spattered red band edition. Sentinels.
There's sound effects in here. I gotta read this.
Boom! Thump! Love sound effects. Who doesn't, man? That's comics.
That's the sound.
Somebody asked if Uncanny Valley is in the top 10. I like Uncanny Valley. I think I've recommended every issue, but I don't think it would make the top 10.
No.
Maybe honorable mention.
Maybe.
How about this week's issue of Ice Cream Man? Is that in anybody's top 10?
No.
This would be the first issue of Ice Cream Man I've read in 2 years that I'm not recommending.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think Grommets might be a honorable mention for me as well. I really like that.
Grommets
It's kind of
is
that
good.
quirky deal, but I do like it.
Yeah, Yule
So-
actually got me caught up on Grommets. He sent me
good.
he sent me all the issues. Yule at Fantastic Comics in Berkeley. Check him out.
If you're an 80s kid,
Somewhere
that's
in
a
it.
fun comic book.
Somewhere in the trees where nobody sees. That
was
flew under a lot
awesome.
of radars. That was really good.
Yeah, that was really good.
What the hell are you talking about, Jim?
Huh?
Oh, I have an
You
update
do the
from
Hot or
last
Not
week.
podcast every week. You've never even mentioned that book.
Because I
You
read
even
it,
read it.
usually read it after we talk. I got other shit to do before. Oh, wait, I got to read all those other books. No, it is really good. I've reviewed a couple of the issues.
I actually have
I
an
don't
update
think that you
from
quite get the subtleties of it, Wes. Is what
Wow.
I'm sorry, Aaron.
No, that's okay. I was going to say I actually have an update to one of our topics from last week. Is we were talking about our favorite GI Joe stories, and we were bringing up GI Joe Classified or Snake Eyes Classified, and we were talking about Brandon Jerwa, and we were like, "Where is Brandon Jerwa?" And I actually went on a search, and he hasn't been on Twitter since like 2015, and I was like, "Did something happen to him?" And then I found him on Instagram and started a conversation with him, and he is working on some new GI Joe stuff that he can't talk about yet. It's not comics, but it's really cool. So he's still working, and he's doing some new stuff. So shout out to Brandon.
Designing toys. I have no
He's
idea.
probably writing a cartoon or something. Animated.
A lot of different things to write.
Absolutely. Will that get you excited, Dylan? A new G.I. Joe cartoon series?
I'd be down for that. I also know that there's supposedly like a Snake Eyes game in the works, so it'd be cool if they actually had someone that knows what they're doing working on that. That would be cool. Because that's been in the work. That was like I think announced like a year or two ago or something. So
I would
cool if he was working on that.
probably murder somebody to get a G.I. Joe video game that's done like Fortnite.
That'd be pretty
Well,
good.
Snake
Did you
Eyes
see
is in
somebody
Fortnite.
yeah, somebody did a side-scrolling beat 'em up, like a fan-made side-scroller that looked pretty good.
So I remember watching Batman fight Snake Eyes in a Fortnite book, right?
Yeah, that happened in
The
the
one
Fortnite
issue that was
comic.
good?
Yeah. That was the only issue that I read because it was Snake Eyes fighting Batman. That's like I've always wanted that. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good issue, but the rest
The
of it was
only
quite
thing-
disappointing.
The only thing fucking Daniel Cherry did his entire tenure.
Yeah, you gotta
In
get
my Toy City, Daredevil is fighting Storm Shadow right now.
Ooh.
All right. So who wins that one, Dylan?
I mean, I would go with Storm Shadow.
I'd go Daredevil. Oh, dude.
Daredevil's a superhero.
Yeah.
He's blind.
They're both ninjas.
He's blind, and Storm Shadow has the ear that sees.
Yeah, exactly. Just arrow through the heart. He's done.
Wouldn't even see it coming.
Nope.
He'd hear it and he'd grab it in the air.
Hindsight is blind.
What do you
Just
think,
like
Sparrow? Who
everyone
wins?
else.
Storm Shadow or Daredevil in your mind? Who's got that?
That's a tough call for me. It's all purely situational because I love both those characters, and I think that they both.
All
have
right,
a,
we put
high
him in
level of
the All
prowess.
Valley tournament. You know, 1-on-1, mano a mano, no weapons. Winner takes it all, like Karate Kid.
I'm gonna give it to Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're the best around.
Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. You're the best.
Around.
Any
What if they're
show
in
where
New
we
York
see,
City?
I feel like we got off to a rocky start with the show, but I feel like anytime we get to a point where we're singing "You're the Best Around" or "Live to Win," I think the show is a top 10.
So, do you think "You're the Best Around" is a better song than like the "No Easy Way Out" from Over the Top?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's better.
Oh, that's such a good montage when he's thinking about his wife and his kid and
Hat goes back.
Bull Hurley.
That's right. No, see, that was the whole inspiration for Pokemon, right? That's where Pokemon got it. You turn your hat backwards because those Japanese creators had seen Over the Top, and they were like, "This is the most American movie ever because it's about truck driving, arm wrestling, and a custody battle."
And then after that, you get a blue ski at the truck stop.
No, after that, they stole the idea. They made Real Steel with Hugh Jackman.
Yep. I remember sitting in Real Steel and being like, "This is just over the top."
It is over the top, but with robots.
And my friend was like, "Yeah, it is pretty out there." And I'm like, "No, that's not what I mean. I mean, this is literally
It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah,
I definitely
mean,
wish
Rock'em Sock'em over the top.
they would bring back the montage with the great fucking hairband music that we got in the 80s and 90s. I think that helped out every action movie that ever made.
I think
Eve Ewing tried to do it by saying that Kitty has the eye of the tiger today.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to, in Kneel Before Doomface, do you want me to put in the margins, like, this is the song that you should be listening to during this montage, or this is the song you should be listening to during
QR code that goes to a Spotify song.
I would rather that than you telling me what to listen to while reading the book. I want to do it on my terms, Aaron. If you want to generally suggest something, I'll take it, but I don't want you demanding that you control my fucking playlist.
What if I just put the lyrics in there, like the lyrics playing?
Like a
I'll call you Tom King and I'll make a video about it. I was like, this fuck Aaron Sparrow is including his lyrics in the goddamn comic book.
Who's that?
Read Five Little Princesses jumping on the bed.
Well, at least I won't write a great song like in Dazzler #1.
I was going to say who was the gay guy that wrote a terrible song for Dazzler #1?
Boy George. Oh,
Jason Lowe.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's gay, but I probably.
Oh come on!
Oh come on!
Well, I don't know. I don't know the guy.
You read Dazzler #1.
All you need to do is look at Dazzler #1. You don't even have to read it. Just look at it to know that that's written by a gay guy.
I've never noticed him at the bathhouse, so
there you go.
I'm not sure.
He's not a regular for Sully. Or I'm sorry for Jim.
Sully.
Sully doesn't even talk, he still gets jammed.
Freudian.
Whoops.
Wow.
My bad, buddy.
By the way, my favorite comic of the year was G.I. Joe #1.
Yes,
primarily
new
because
comic book you bought.
Was that the only one?
It is literally the only new comic book that I purchased in 2024 because it was the only one.
You would have been able to get
Wolverine
Deep Cut, like it would be right there with it.
Okay, possibly Wolverine Deep Cuts would have been there, but I wasn't able to get it, so it doesn't count. Same with that Lobo cancellation special, wasn't able to get it, so it doesn't count. But
so any book that you didn't read it wasn't published?
Yes.
And not Doc's world. Yeah, that's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Why are you denying Doc's truth?
All I know is if Doc read Doom #1 from Hickman and Sanford Green, that probably would have been in there too. I think he would have liked it even more than I did. He loves
he would have liked
I got a lot of people telling me I need to do an MF Doom cover for Doomface.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably be also MF Doom died, what was it, 2 years ago? About
something like that.
What about this? There's a building, there's been an explosion, the effigy of Doomface is blown into the building, and it says Doomface AF as Doomface watches on his work. That'd be a good cover.
All right. Yeah, send me your concept sketch.
Oh, I'll rip it right out of Absolute Batman. I'll send it
right
to you.
That sounds good. I can't wait till I have people say like, we got to get to my car. This is a car.
Ooh.
And it's actually just a one of those post boxes. Like the fucking mailbox, the blue one that you drop your mail in.
No, what I wanted to be like, this is a car, and it's like, then he like is hitting the little alarm on his Yugo, and it's like, is it though? Is it?
Next thing you know, you got his name voting on the streets, and like, this was not made.
This is a car. We're standing on the street. Where's the car?
The whole city's a car. Oh, see, that would have been so much cooler, Scott Snyder. You could have just had him drive the city, and the city could have been on big wheels.
Oh, well, actually, hold on.
Castle into a Batman.
Oh, hold on. Somebody already did that, and it was back during... It was one of the Authority specials where Jack Hawksmoor turns the entire archipelago of Japan into a battle suit.
I also watched a movie about that. It was like a steampunk movie, Immortal something.
It was he was fighting the sentient future city of Kansas City, though.
What is it? What was it? Mortal Engines? Yes. Did anyone else see Mortal Engines?
Yeah, I saw that
No,
one.
but I know what you're talking about. I've seen the trailer.
I saw it, and then much like Avatar, I forgot everything about it immediately.
Yeah. A bad movie. Jose B says, shout out to Aaron. Just watched Transformers 1 with my son, and it was a lot better than I thought. Definitely action-packed. Hope you guys see it.
It was highly
I also
recommended to
watched
me,
it with my son.
and they were not wrong. So, when I went and saw it, I was like, oh, you know what? They had my number. They knew I'd like this.
Yeah. I watched it with my 2 oldest boys, and they absolutely loved it. And even the youngest one watched it quite a bit. But, he's not quite as into movies, because he's only 3. But, Sully, have you seen Transformers 1 yet?
I have not. No, I kind of...
You need to fix yourself and go watch the goddamn movie.
Fix myself, yeah. I mean, the Michael Bay movies really were a letdown for me because I'm a G1 Transformers fan, so I got my Transformers. I peeked at the movie. I got my broken heart with it, like everyone else. I saw it at the movie theater. That's when Spike said, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do now?" We all lost our shit because we're like, "Oh my god." We're like 12 and 13.
He said a curse.
He said a curse word. Yeah, in the cartoon. Like that. That was
mind blowing. See, now Sully being a G1 fan is used to, Optimus Prime's famous saying, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Whereas, if you're a Michael Bay fan, Optimus's, iconic line is, you die! I'll kill you all! It had to kill Peter Cullen's soul to have to say that.
Oh, man. Those movies were a mess.
Give me your
You should watch Transformers 1. It's completely different. It's fun.
Okay. I'll check it
Especially
out.
if you said you got a nephew, just get him and go watch it together. He'll love it. Yeah, you got a reason. It's a kid's movie, but it's good.
Remember when Optimus took the Fallen's face off?
Oh, jeez.
He had that iconic Optimus line, "Give me your face," and it's like, what is? Was this set up earlier? Why is this a line? Why is this it's delivered like it should be really meaningful, and it's not at all? And I know that I'm looking for meaning in a Michael Bay movie, but I'm just trying to latch onto something. I don't know, man.
Nice. Kalichioki wants to know what's the worst read of 2024. Only one choice.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Boom, that's a really good one.
That's a really excretional X-Men #4 from the other day.
No, you get one choice. You said Negasonic.
I did, and I meant it.
And you live with it.
Dazzler.
That's a terrible book.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dazzler for me.
Dazzler was the worst comic made. Actually, I think it might be the last. It might take the entire 2020s to this point.
Oh, man. I think maybe Wonder Woman, despite the really good art,
I think of Wonder
really
Woman.
awful.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, what's your worst book of the year? G.I. Joe?
I like G.I. Joe.
That was Gabe's pick. He said G.I. Joe sucked. I don't get it.
G.I. Joe was great. I don't know the
Gabe
worst
has
book
terrible
he said it was.
Why do we talk to Gabe?
I love Gabe. Gabe's a great guy. If I didn't talk to people that like bad comic books, I wouldn't talk to Sully.
Exactly. I think y'all look good just by showing up.
You didn't read a bad comic book this year, Dylan?
I definitely did, but the thing is, I do my best to avoid bad comic books, so I don't read a whole lot. And then when I do, I instantly forget them. So looking back, thinking like, what bad comic books did I read?
I definitely read
some.
Spider-Man last week.
Hawker this year, right? Hawker, Fire and Ice. There was a lot.
I didn't read those.
Yeah, there was some bad.
I read. Yeah, there were some issues of Amazing Spider-Man I read. I can't remember anything about them. They were bad. The first issue of Gail Simone's Action Comics was not very good. Oh, yeah, that actually probably. I read the first issue of Scarlet. That's probably my worst issue of the year.
Yeah.
The first issue of Scarlet. I didn't read anything past that. That first issue was awful. That's my worst comic of the year. Scarlet issue 1. Maybe the other issues were worse. I don't know. I didn't read them.
It gets worse.
But, well, there you go. That first issue was atrocious. Trying to set up a whole thing with her and Jinx randomly, and then the way she was talking to her, to her overseer, it was so weird. Bad. That book sucked.
I know that G.I. Joe plays it fast and loose with the whole military thing, but that when you read a book and you go, this person knows nothing about military protocol at all and couldn't be bothered to try to figure any of it out. They just kind of wrote what they wanted, and yeah, it.
Kaiser Jose says it's Ice Cream Man 42.
Yeah, I mean that one is deranged.
You know what's weird is Jim knows that I like Ice Cream Man, and when we do Hot or Not, he never reads Ice Cream Man. And then this week was the first time in an entire year that you finally did it, Chip.
Yep, I ended up where I
one.
always say, and every time I say, well, I'm not caught up or whatever, and it's always one shots or little things. So I'm like, oh, screw it. Like, he loves it so much. I'll read this. And I'm reading. I'm like, damn you, Wes, you jerk. I was so bad. And then I'm waiting to get on. I actually was waiting to get on and you to tell me that it was good. And I would have lost all faith in you, but you did not. We said it was bad.
Well, absolutely not.
That creator jumped over to get a blue ski, right?
I might have been.
Yeah. Might be. There we go. Let's we don't have time for that. Let's talk about our comic book recommendations and head on out of here. I do need some chicken nugget time, and I do have to record with Drew. Sully, I know you got a bag of funny books. Were they all winners this week?
Kind of. What did I get? I got some funny books this week. I also got a crowdfunder came in. I got, let me show you, Aaron Lopresti's Kit Carter and Galactic Ranger. It's a beautiful woman in outer space costumes, and it's a little oversized, and it's a really nice book. I got the T-shirt as well, and so yeah, a nice crowdfunder that came through.
Can't go wrong back in Aaron Lopresti's stuff.
Yeah, he's really awesome. I got some funny books this week. From last week, I picked up Exo Man of War one shot. Wes and I already disagreed on that, but you know what I mean? It's not. It's
a
was
much
fun.
better, more faithful interpretation of Exo Man of War than we have gotten from the Food Rats, or certainly from Dennis Hopeless Hallam.
Great, totally. But it's a $5.99 book. It's my first Aliens Valiant floppy that I picked up, and it's okay. It looks like it was drawn on a tablet, but I like the story, and it was quite all right. And I picked this up too for Wes. Eventually, going to mail it to him. It's the AEW Origins free comic book that I got at my.
We have access to toilet paper in the Philippines. You don't have to ship it to me.
Come on, man! It's the AEW. I don't want to follow this stuff at all. I got Mark Miller's Jupiter Legacy finale issue 2. Great artwork. This is, he's finally wrapping up Jupiter's Legacy. I'm kind of like Metza on it, but I'm in for Mark Miller. Love him, and I've got the rest of them. And Ultimate Spider-Man number 11. This was really good. I liked it a lot. Just Black Cat's first appearance, and she's been,
she showed up 2 issues earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we're in costume, Was she in costume 2 issues earlier?
I believe so.
I forget. Oh, cool. And really, my pick of the week, G.I. Joe 311. This is a fun, high-octane, over-the-top G.I. Joe, a real American hero comic book. It is so fun. It's the battle.
And it gives you a reason to put 311 back on the playlist.
Yep. Yeah. This is,
it never left.
Chris Mooneyham is back on the book, and this is fun. I love being part of this. And that's all I got for the week for my new releases. And like I said, like Sentinels number 2 impressed me with the artwork. I thought that Spiny Rain Rain 2 number 5 was pretty good. Thor was all right. Moon Knight was all right. What was pretty good was Predator versus Black Panther number 4. Wrapped up the book. I liked it, and I like seeing Sam as Falcon. I mean, that goes a long way with me. I like that. So, and those were my picks of the week.
I do not support your pick.
These are picks of the week. What
to
avoid.
You pick it, you flick it. Yeah. I know.
Spider-Man's a good book.
Recommend keeping your money.
I also liked Miles Morales 26. I've been really tuned into that for like a year now, I guess. And I think it's consistent and it's competent. I like the, I hope a book like this finds its young audience. And I don't mind Cody Ziegler.
Where is it going to find, does it actually need, Does this audience actually live in dumpsters?
Wait, I'm a mod. I'm a mod. I'm kicking Sully. I'm kicking Sully for saying he doesn't mind Cody Ziegler.
Dude, I like Spider-Punk
Ziegler's
arms.
comedy is an actual
All right,
war
fellas,
crime.
this is comic book recommendations, Doc. We're not chastising him, we're teasing him.
Oh, that's all right.
No. Cody Ziegler,
We must-
that is absolutely worth of chastising.
I'm putting the bag
Cody
over my
Ziegler.
head like Sylvester Jr. and going, "Oh, Sully."
You're a fucking
Aw.
Jets fan. All right, Dylan, you got any books you want to recommend this week?
Yeah, I got a few. I'd say Rockefeller's #1, new Ghost Machine book. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with that. Geiger #8, even though it was just a setup issue, I'd still say it's worth picking up. I'm excited to see what happens next issue. And then Dark Knight's All Winter #5. It's the best Deathstroke comic we've had in like the past decade, which isn't saying much because Deathstroke has been off for a while. But this is actually pretty cool. I'm enjoying what's going on, and I hope it continues to be good because I think next time is the final issue. I think issue 6 is the final issue.
It is the next issue, yeah.
Yeah, so those would be my 3 recommendations.
Very nice. You got any videos or special streams that people should know about?
Yeah, I've got no special streams coming up, but yeah, I've got some videos out there for people to check out. I've got some stuff in the works also that I'm working on right now, but nothing specific, just always working on stuff. I just did that video on the Absolute Batman where I used the Absolute Batman mod in Arkham Knight, and that was pretty fun. So yeah.
Does he blow stuff up? What does he stab people?
Does he get?
I mean, you
more
can-
retarded?
Hydrochloric acid?
I mean, in Arkham Knight, you can already basically kill
Ah.
people. You can crush someone's
There you go.
windpipe with a car door. You can run them over with a Batmobile. You can do all kinds of things. Then you turn on your detective vision, which tells you their state of being, and it says they're unconscious, they're breathing, they're stable, they're fine. It's like that guy just died.
It's like,
Just
I
like,
kicked
I
that
was
guy
going-
I kicked that guy in the spine, and he bent like this.
Yeah, I was going 200 miles an hour in the Batmobile, and he went flying 100 feet, and it's like,
That
Went
is
through, and
hold on.
through a lamppost.
That
Yeah.
is absolute Batman detective vision because
Yeah.
that's fucking stupid.
yeah, I always had the conspiracy that Alfred just had it, like, he had it programmed, so it always said they're still alive, so Batman didn't feel any guilt. It's like, that guy's
Yeah,
fine.
it's like the skit where he's going like, oh no, he's not, that man's not.
He's sleeping,
I'm
yeah.
good, and people people fight me,
Yeah.
and they get really tired, and they have to go to
Yeah.
sleep. And it's like, you killed
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. HH from Here Comes the Calico. Looking forward to joining all on Aficionados. In the meantime, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. Now go back. Here Comes Calico on Kickstarter. Absolutely. And certainly happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. We're going to be cooking up some steaks here. A little bit different for Thanksgiving, but I think we're going to have a good time.
Beef
Kids are
sticks.
excited. Yeah, these are going to be ribeyes.
Nice.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Going to make some loaded mashed
I'm gonna come
potatoes.
to your
Probably
house
grill up
for-
some vegetables.
Does anybody actually like turkey?
Yes,
I love
actually,
Yeah.
turkey.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Turkey's
terrific.
great.
I legit love Thanksgiving dinner.
I like
it's-
the sandwiches afterwards more than I like actually just having the turkey.
I love
on the
all of
plate.
it. Equally.
Get if you know how to make a really good gravy that goes with it, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a piece of bread, turkey, stuffing, green bean casserole, little bit of the cranberry on there. You just eat it as a sandwich. It's perfect.
Slice of rum ham.
Whatever, man.
Let's get
Anything
it all in
goes when it's Thanksgiving time for sandwiches. And we'll definitely see if we can. I think we'll have a HH on next weekend, so that'll be fun. And Aaron, are you recommending any comic books?
Well, I'm obviously recommending G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 311. Recommending that. I haven't read Rockefeller's yet, but I did pick it up. Like I said, I generally have liked everything Ghost Machine has put out, so I felt pretty confident just grabbing it. I am going to recommend some toys this week. I picked up the G.I. Joe Action Pilot Halo Jumper. I've not taken it out of the package yet, but this figure is fantastic. It comes with a bunch of gear. And then I also picked up, they released a female Marine Sniper. So I picked that up as well. She comes with like the ghillie suit. So even if you don't want a female Marine Sniper, she comes with lots of accessories that you could give to Lowlight. But I'm actually excited about this. I think this figure looks amazing. It comes with 2 heads, so they kind of like tell you like you really need to buy 2 so you can have 2 female snipers. So those are my recommendations for this week. I'm gonna start doing toy recommendations. Since Doc can recommend old comics, I can recommend toys.
I recommend toys sometimes too.
You do. You recommended that Rogue, I remember.
Yeah.
I recommend everyone, if there's something wrong with your ball sack, you go to the cardiologist and you can take a look. That's what I'm recommending. Hands on, sir.
Listen,
Do not
sir,
avert your eyes.
I paid for full service and I expect full service.
And
you
whenever
you get down into that undercarriage and tell me what's
My
going
happy
on.
ending. My happy ending to my whiskey.
And if you are suffering maybe some heart palpitations, the proctologist, perfect place to go check it.
Absolutely.
Wes,
And
would that be a Philippines blueski?
I don't know what that was, but I can't show my face around the fucking medical establishment.
You showed more than your face, and that's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I recognize you. It's like, don't look. I'm still embarrassed. That was bad. And certainly don't forget to back newly formed Doomface. You still got a limited time. How long is that going to be up there?
10 days left to go on the main campaign. So, we're trying to get to, if we get to 22,000, everybody gets 24 pages added to the book. So depending on what level you bought in on, you could be getting almost 64 pages of story for $10, $15.
What we really need to do is get it over 1 million.
And that would be nice.
I'd
love to hit that. I'd love to hit those Rippaverse numbers. Where you're like 9,000 books sold. That would be incredible because I want everybody to read this. This is like what does your boy say? Actually, it's funny. I got mentioned in one of Zach's videos where he said that on the pain chart, the highest level of pain should be me finding out that they gave Darkwing Duck to Daniel Kibblesmith, which I thought was a pretty funny bit. I actually don't care because Dynamite's books don't matter, but it was funny. We are trying to knock out this campaign. This is not a cultural war bond, as your boy says. This is not something that I want you to buy to own the libs or own the conservatives or own the chuds. This is a book that I want people to read and I want people to enjoy. So if you can, please back it. If you can't, please help spread the word. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. Jim, from Weird Science, you've got a comic book review empire. You got the podcast, you got the YouTube, you've got a digital platform called a website. What do you recommend this week?
I recommend the Ultimate Spider-Man number 11, Batman and Robin year 1, number 2, and the Rockefellers number 1. Those are my
Very
recommendations.
nice. Is there anything people should be looking out for you? You got any big interviews or
interviews.
roast of Gabe again? I know
Maybe roast
you
of
roasted
Gabe.
the shit out of him last week.
I refuse to interview anybody. That I don't like that. But roasting Gabe, making fun of Gabe, and yelling at Gabe. Those are the three things to look forward to. I'll be reviewing some stuff. I have some videos. I have one that's going to be about the new 52. That's coming up. It's in the works, and some other things. So it'll be up. Boom.
Very nice. Any dirty songs people should be looking out for?
Yeah, there's one that's hitting in 10 minutes. It'll be I'm a chubby chaser.
Dirtiest song yet?
It's not really dirty as much as funny. It's like a Leonard Skinner style song.
I'm a chubby chaser.
I'm a chubby chaser. Yeah.
When are we getting the? I'm a Phil. Needing a blueski.
The blueski might be coming up. I actually need to write some. I try to do a song a day, but I did do a tribute to the military, specifically the Navy, where a lady talks about how she likes semen. So that is recently up and things like that. So people can check it out.
Aaron's got to have a QR code in Doomface that links to one of Jim's songs, right?
Songs?
You got to listen to that while you're reading.
You know what's funny, Jim? Everybody's telling me that the Doomface theme needs to be released on Spotify.
Yep, that's the song I made. So that's not dirty either.
Yeah, no. Actually, I've got to write more lyrics for it because Jesse Snyder and his band, they want to cover it.
They want to do it. I saw the one thing that he was talking about it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious. Very cool.
Dirty songs.
And last but not least, we do have Doc. Are you recommending any comic books?
I am, but nothing new. I am recommending that you go check out our review for Exceptional X-Men 3.
It'll be up on Monday.
It is one of the top 5 worst comics, just because it's so poorly written. If you ever wanted to see a comic written by someone that should be, well, legally required to wear a helmet.
All right, Brandon, we got a review on this, Doc. Let's get to it.
You should check it out. But we will go with, I am going to recommend a toy because my Always has a like this entire wave, or wait, is that, yeah, there it is. That the Go-Gurt Hulk wave, that entire thing sitting at my Always, plus more.
I need Kamala Khan from that to finish.
You do?
Hulk. Yeah.
Oh God, I'll get it for you. I'll get it for you. So,
I could never bring myself to buy it.
Yeah, this Heroes Reborn Iron Man, I was like, you know what? I kind of like it, and it doesn't have any parts for the Go-Gurt Hulk. So, also, it's weirdly not listed on the side, like all as even part of the wave.
Yeah, because you don't need to build with it. So yeah, it's strange. It's strange that they left it off because it's easily one of the better figures from that line.
It is. It's the only good. I mean, well, the Marvel Boy I looked at and I was like, no. But then we will go with, if you know what? I reread this recently. If you wanted to see what Zack Snyder actually got his, probably inspiration for the entire Snyderverse, read Supreme Power. Like, this is what happens. It's a terrible, everybody's kind of fucking terrible in this. And they're all weirdly, also, we don't get a Hyperion that looks like he did 4 years of steroids in a week to get that jacked. So, but Supreme Power is actually pretty good. Very kind of unceremoniously ends, but I think that was around the time that JMS kind of like rage quit Marvel following One More Day. So it's pretty good. Plus they turned it into it went from a Max book to a regular Marvel, like a Marvel Knights or all ages book, and that kind of defeats the purpose too. So then we will go with a book that I always it's a 4-issue miniseries. Blink was a character that, so we got like a tiny little taste of her whenever she first showed up in the Phalanx Covenant. Then about a year or so later, we got more of her in Age of Apocalypse. And like, she ended up actually being one of the kind of breakout characters from that.
Yeah.
Especially her design. And then they did this 4-issue Blink miniseries that was, I think, done by Scott Lobdell and Adam Kubert. And then it led into the Exile series, which I know everyone that watches this show is tired of hearing me recommend. But is also really fucking good. So this was kind of like the 4-issue miniseries that leads into the Exiles. So
is that a Joe Mad cover?
This is actually an Adam Kubert cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, no, I love that. And I loved, they made a figure of her, but they didn't give her her hair that wet look that she always had.
Yeah, I have that figure. And I was a little disappointed in the head sculpt for it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I Blink's a fan favorite, is an absolute favorite character of mine. So check this out. It's a really good little series. Then, well, first of all, Rob Liefeld cover of Ultimate or Uncanny X-Force, the Remender series. This is a very rare variant for it. I recommend the entire series, but I also recommend a lot of the variants for it because they're really fucking good. And this Liefeld variant, I'm not sure if I like the way he did Deadpool for it because he looks like way too big and jacked. But fuck it, whatever. So yeah, recommend go find a copy of this. It's a really hard variant to find. Then we will go with something very, very classic. X-Men, what is it, 6? Yeah. With, I think this was the first, this might have been the first Silver Age appearance of Namor. I don't think he had been seen since the Golden Age. So, and I think this is when they introduced the idea that he was a mutant. But yeah. So, yeah, because he joined the Brotherhood in this. Issues 4, 5, and 6 were all Brotherhood issues. But yeah, go check this out. Sure, just go buy $100 multiple $100 comics. Do it. It's absolutely what you need to do.
Well, very nice. And we got our comic book recommendations in. I hope everyone has a fantastic week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have fun with your friends and family. If you're Dylan, you're going to watch the Macau edition of Fight Night, I guess, for UFC.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
You'll be all right. So, all right, we'll see y'all next week. Have fun.